morning. It's now 5 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Our forecast, wow, it's a hot one. Today, we've got partly sunny skies, our high going to 98, with the heat index reaching 110 for most of us. It could be 115 in some places as well. And then Saturday gets even hotter, 99. Sunday, 101. Not a lot of cloud cover for any of these days, and it looks like we don't have very much of a chance of rain either. We'll have more in the forecast throughout the morning. Looks like accused killer Luigi Mangione will plead guilty this morning in the federal trial connected to the 2024 killing in Manhattan of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A hearing is scheduled for 11 o'clock Eastern time this morning. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer doesn't expect this is going to be your typical plea deal.
You could take a plea in two different ways. As a defense attorney, you could talk to the prosecutor and say, hey, let's hash this out. Let's get a plea deal. And that's what we're usually accustomed to. But as a defense attorney, if you're getting nowhere with the prosecutor and they're not giving you an offer, they're not giving you something that your client wants to take, you're allowed to turn directly to the judge and say, hey, judge, what will you give me? Now, the difference between that is the judge can't dismiss any of the charges to then make the deal sweeter for you.
Now, this plea deal is not official until it's announced at the hearing this morning. We're going to keep our eye on it. Here in Nashville, a convicted killer was put to death yesterday despite numerous attempts at clemency and reprieve. Anthony Darrell Hines died by lethal injection at the Riverbend Maximum Security Prison about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Initially, he had no last words, but just before the injection, he told a witness, "Tell my son I love him." Hines raped and killed motel maid Catherine Jenkins in 1985 in Kingston Springs. Now, a statement from Catherine Jenkins' son, Dennis, after the execution said in part, "Yes, I hope he did suffer. I hope he felt severe pain." To those hotshot attorneys out there that are trying to make a name for yourselves by defending these cold-blooded murderers, I don't understand your mentality. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Major Wall Street indexes were up after Thursday's wholesale prices report showed prices easing slightly, but still better than what economists forecasted. The Dow was up 70 points at close, hovering in record territory. The S&P 500 gained 51 points after hitting a new intraday high, and the Nasdaq rose 215. Real estate stocks had a good day as mortgage rates helped drive housing markets. Avalon Bay Communities, which owns apartments nationwide, rose more than 2%. And watch and jewelry maker Fossil Group rose more than 4.5% after reporting better than expected results for the latest quarter. Oil prices dipped Thursday, which also helped ease inflation worries. The White House announced a new effort to fight transshipment, the rerouting of exports through third nations to avoid U.S. tariffs. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro says such schemes add $26 billion of lost tax revenue for the U.S. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Now, stock futures this morning mixed. We've got the Dow futures down 74, but the Nasdaq futures plus 38, and the S&P futures gaining 3. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
Okay, so it looks really good so far this morning. I see no problems on the major roadways heading in. Traffic is running just fine. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well and welcome on in to a Friday, August 14th. Joan, so do we, you'll have to remind me, do we brand our weather like anything like the 3-day forecast, the 5-day forecast, the bus stop forecast? Do we call it anything like that?
I don't think we do.
We do. Okay, well.
We call it Stefano's forecast.
So heretofore, the rest of the day today, it is going to be known as the WTN Sizzling Forecast.
I would call it the stinking hot forecast.
The stinking. I like sizzling, and plus I've got the sound effect for it.
I see. Yeah, there is that.
We can call this the whatever. All right, I thought it was funny. Whatever. You know what? Starting the show off on the wrong foot already. Can't even get like a sympathy chuckle out of you two this morning.
I was in agreement. I liked it, and I knew what you were about to say there. And you
did you back. Because you heard me doing the production before the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
I could read your mind through the glass. You're like it's the sound of Islam repellent.
That was the sound of bacon frying. Thank you.
I see.
As always. Because remember, Joan, with Sam, everything goes back to Islam. By the way, we need to be watching Sam very closely today.
Yeah, why's that?
He was bitten by a spider apparently last night.
I hope I get powers.
You know what, Sam? Was it an Islamic spider that bit you?
I don't know.
Because
I woke up feeling like my wife should be fully covered.
If he throws himself down in the middle of the day and starts saying weird words, face down to the ground.
Yes. Okay, so Sam, because we all have seen Spider-Man, right? So if you like flick your wrists out like this and like web comes out, we know.
It's just a giant middle finger.
You know what the great thing is? If the transmitter goes out, which you can do, you can actually now climb the transmitter all the way to the top and fix it.
In this heat, you're out of your mind.
Anyway, whatever. So Sam's been bitten by a spider. I can't get a sympathy chuckle out of Joan, and we'll have to see how the weekend goes. It is going to be hot. I mean, it is going to be like brutally hot. Today is, so if I'm reading the forecast correctly, Joan, today is the coolest of the next 3 days. Today is going to be a high of 98, going to feel like 110, 115 in some places. Then you're going to have on Saturday, it's going to be, a little hotter with a high of 99. I'm going to do this all day, folks.
Well, the air is going to feel like this, too. That heavy, moist, unpleasant, blanketed hot air.
And on Sunday, a high of 101. What is the feels like temperature going to be on Sunday? If it feels like 101, then
Stefano didn't say that, but I'm going to check and see if I can find it somewhere else. And I did hear another forecaster say that if by chance we get some storms to come through during the weekend, it may help to bring the temperatures down a bit.
I have the Channel 4 heat index for the weekend. Are you ready?
Oh, there you go. Go.
Wait, hold on. I've got the perfect sound effect for it.
Between 105 and 110, up to 111 in peak areas.
Ooh, boy. So, and that's just the temperature. We're not even talking about the feels like.
No, that feels like.
That feels like too?
That's
okay.
Feels like. Yeah. So, Stefano was actually saying today, and I have him recorded saying it, that it could be 100, the heat index could be 115 today in some areas.
What?
What?
So this may be one of those days where you just kind of,
Yeah. Stay indoors.
yeah.
Pull the windows down and keep the heat from coming in your windows.
Do you know what's so funny is a couple weeks ago, Amy and I, it was actually too hot to go swimming in our pool.
Oh,
Now, that's kind of weird.
The famous towel post now? Or is that...
Towel over the
No,
head
we're
post.
not. No, we're not. We're not talking about. Well, actually, no, it wasn't that day. It was many weeks ago now. It's a couple of months ago. Why do we have to get so specific, Sam? You know what? It's the spider bite. He's going to be like this all morning long.
All
My
morning.
senses are tingling.
So no, it was too hot to even go in the pool. So we've already got a plan for this weekend. So what we're going to do is it is going to be a pool weekend. And so we're going to do the pool until we can't anymore. And then we're going to go see that movie, The End of Oak Street. Have you seen the trailers for this movie? Where it's like an entire...
Scary, right?
I think it's more campy, where a street ends up being teleported back into the dinosaur days. Anne Hathaway's in it. And it's...
Is she pregnant? She's pregnant right now.
I don't know if she's pregnant in the movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
I saw the trailer when I went to see Spider-Man last week.
Yeah?
It looks...
Does she look pregnant? Joan wants to know.
No, I mean, she's a mom in the movie to some teenage children, but...
She looks like a bad A, like she does. And I know people are yelling at me on the super text line, why are you going to see a Hollywood movie? You know what?
And
it's got
she's
dinosaurs.
Like wicked progressive.
But it's a normal movie. It's a mom and a dad
That's
trying
good.
to save their kids from the dinosaurs.
Hang on,
that
the
they
movies
raised.
have a mom and a dad in one family?
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. I bet you
Whoa.
the dad gets eaten by a T-Rex in the first 5 minutes. Right? Just like Disney. When Disney kills the
Yeah.
dad all the time,
Yes.
it's probably the same thing with this movie. They'll probably kill the dad in the first 5 minutes. That's how we'll know that it's woke.
Yep. There you go.
But that's how we're going to escape the sizzling temperatures. Is by going to the movies. When it's too hot to be in the pool, we're going to go to the mall and go to the
And then when you're done, you can
movies.
walk around the mall, spend some more time there on their air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to ask Amy, who for whatever reason is up. She's already texted me this morning if our bulletproof vests have arrived
yeah.
because we're going to Opry Mills.
They have security.
And
And they
Sam.
don't let minors in unaccompanied anymore.
actually, I love that.
Yeah.
Because we love going to Opry Mills, in all seriousness. They've got a cheesecake factory there and at Tommy Bahamas, and we like it there.
Their cheesecake factory is excellent.
Yeah, and we couldn't figure out what in the world was going on and why they were checking IDs and this kind of a thing. And then Amy realized, oh yeah, this is what they're doing. And I will say that the mall experience has been much more pleasant in the last, I don't know, whenever they started doing that. But we got to the point with Opry Mills Mall, we stopped going. It was like, okay, so there's so many kids running rampant in this place and, they're smarting off and, this, that, and the other. And you see the stories about, all these kids running into stores and stealing a bunch of stuff that happened at Opry Mills. 1 or 2 times there were shootings there, people were killed, whatever. So we stopped going to Opry Mills, but it's actually been really good the last couple of times. So we actually, Amy, if the bulletproof vests don't come by Saturday afternoon, it's okay. I think we'll be fine because they're not allowing the malcontent youths there to run rampant in the mall anymore. And according to Sam, they have security, which I'm just laughing at because...
They have guns.
Do they have guns?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go into the entrance right by the theater because, I'm headed there first. And yeah, there's typically 1, if not 2, armed security guards there.
Do you think the Republicans in Tennessee are going too far right?
Yes.
You feel like they're going too far right?
A little bit.
Okay. Joan, what do you think?
No.
So
Not
this
even
is,
close.
So Jeremy Faison, who is in the state legislature, he's going to be retiring in November, I guess. And so he gave an interview where he says that the Republican Party in the state of Tennessee is going too far right. So we're going to talk about that straight ahead. Take the Daily Dan poll on YouTube. That is the poll right now. Do you feel like the Tennessee state Republicans are going too far right. By the way, we've got one of those Tennessee state Republicans who is going to be on the radio program later this morning at 6:35. We're going to put him on the payroll. One Scott Sapicki, who spent some time with the Murphy Show yesterday. I've had booked him as well, so he's going to be on both shows, which is fine. There's enough of us to go around, I suppose. But I'm going to talk to him about what is going on with Metro Nashville schools and a couple of other things. And so he'll be on with us at 6:35. I'm going to ask him about Scott Sapicki. I'm going to ask him about what Jeremy Faison said about the Republicans in the state of Tennessee going too far right. I'm going to say that I disagree with Sam. I agree with Joan, but we're going to talk about that straight ahead. It is 5:16. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Yeah, still nothing doing on the roads. It's a great time to get out and get to work if you want to get there early and end your day early. That sounds like a good thing to do. We have no delays to speak of, no accidents so far in the major roadways heading in. The Tennessee State Fair continues this morning at the James E. Ward Agri Center in Lebanon. So just keep in mind that on I-40 within the city limits of Lebanon, you've got speed reduced from 70 to 60 miles an hour. And you know the police are going to be out there checking it. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
As far as your all day I'm going to do it. As far as your sizzling,
really looking forward to that.
Sizzling. All right, I'm done. I won't do it anymore. People get mad at me when I do it, so it's all good. I'll just never mind.
Notice how he didn't promise.
Do you know what? I can't have any fun on this show. Like the program director is yelling at me about staying on time. I can't play my sound effects, whatever. You know what? I'll just go ahead and I'll just do the content.
You know where I wish I was?
On the beach?
No, in the frozen Arctic.
Oh.
Okay, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to save this moment because when it's January and we're in the middle of a power outage because there's ice all over Middle Tennessee, I'm going to play this moment for you.
They've been out trimming the branches.
They have. And some people have actually been upset about that. I don't know. Have you noticed that? People have been, why are you trimming my branches? It's like, because they're hanging over the power lines, you old biddy. Good Lord.
So glad
She'll
I heard
be the first
idiot.
one to call
I know.
after a storm and say, oh, this happened to me and you didn't fix it in time.
Anyway, a few clouds today, high of 98, feels like 110, maybe 115. Saturday, a little hotter, high of 99. Feels like, again, going to be around 110, 115. Same for Sunday, high of 101, and it'll feel like somewhere between 110
and hell
and 115. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. This is what Jeremy Faison, he is an outgoing state lawmaker. This is what he says about the Tennessee State Republican Party.
What made you decide like this was the year that you were like, okay, I've done enough?
Republicans introduced a bill that would allow schools to remove children who are here with parents illegally. I'm Christian, so like I believe all these people are made in the image of God. So that bill didn't pass, thank goodness, but that's kind of where the mainstream GOP is.
So, Joan, it sounds like he's calling you less of a Christian because you are, I don't know, for what the Republican Party stands for or try to do here in Middle Tennessee. The thing that I don't understand, though, is it literally did not pass. So I don't know what it is that he's trying to say. They introduced the bill. They realized, and this is going to be part of a bigger segment that I'm going to do later on, but this was part of, a bill. And they said, ultimately, when they looked at the bill, they realized that they might be getting some pushback even from the Supreme Court. So they pulled it back. But, as far as the Republican Party in the state of Tennessee, I mean, think about what they've been focused on, right? Cutting crime in Memphis specifically. That has been huge. Trump and the law enforcement surge has been literally saving lives. The governor for the state of Tennessee did that. Keeping men out of women's sports. That has been huge. Again, I don't think that is an indicator that the Republican Party in the state of Tennessee is drifting too far right. cooperating with ICE and federal agencies on illegal immigration. That is a good thing. School vouchers has been controversial, certainly, but that is also something that they've been focused on. The state legislature and Governor Lee working hard to make sure that we have a pro-business culture in the state of Tennessee. And, of course, the governor and the state legislature trying to figure out property taxes and how to help the people of Nashville. So I don't see, at least, and this is my opinion, I don't believe that we're drifting too far right. Maybe on some issues you could make an argument. I mean, my frustration with the Tennessee state legislature, to be perfectly honest with you on this, has been their refusal to look at medicinal marijuana. That is something that I personally have been frustrated with. But you know what? Bottom line is, I think that they're on the right track. And so for Jeremy Faison, and I'm going to try to get him on, and I'm certainly not attacking Faison. I think I've interviewed him a few times. I don't know. Over the years, it all just kind of blends in together. But, I mean, if you really want to talk about drifting, I mean, we could talk about the left and how far they have gone left all day long. I don't agree with Jeremy Faison. But you do, apparently, Sam?
No, not on this issue.
Oh, okay. Well, then what other issues?
You paint the broad brush of drifting too far right. I'm going to sympathize with you on medical marijuana. I think the repealing of what was in place with hemp in Tennessee was overreach. It was authoritarian. I didn't like it, and now we have some community and veteran pushback on it, and so that end of it, yeah. This, no. If we've got, unfortunately, if you've got parents here that are undocumented, that are here illegally, gotta go.
Yep. I agree with you, and I don't know, Joan, if you have anything to add to it, but I think for Faison, he did again admit that this thing that, by the way, it was House Bill 793 and Senate Bill 836. Again, they realized that it might not pass constitutional muster. And so that original version of taking kids out of schools, the kids of illegals out of school, wasn't in the later versions. And so, I disagree.
Wish it was.
Me too.
I wish it was. I mean, why are we paying for them? Why? Your tax, everybody's tax dollars are paying for these kids to be educated, and our kids are not even able to read once they get to the 5th, 6th, 7th grade.
It's about demagnetizing Tennessee. Yeah. So, and again, it also sounded to me, anyway, like he's calling out Christians who want strong borders as unchristian-like. To me, that's a little weird. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
No, that's the argument from people who have a leftist mindset about it. You're not really Christian. Jesus was an immigrant. You would have deported Jesus. And it's like, in the Bible and in the New Testament, Jesus tells you to abide by the laws of the land that you are in.
So what does the Daily Dan poll on YouTube say? What are people saying?
Are Tennessee Republicans drifting too far right? 72% say no.
All right. And that would mean that
28%
say yes. All right, very good. I would be interested to know what those 28% base that on. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. If you feel like the Tennessee State Republican Party is drifting too far to the right, hit me up on the super text line, 615-737-9986, and let me know why. It is 523 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan has the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, we'll tell you those weird-looking cars that have been spotted near Nashville. We'll tell you what they're being used for coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business. 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family. .528, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so Joan, apparently I owe people an apology.
Oh, already? I mean, it's kind of early.
You know what? It is early. This is like, no good deed goes unpunished. But apparently, when I played my sizzling sound effect, people actually thought it sounded like running water, and people suddenly had to go to the bathroom. That's what happened. Hey, by the way, I want to say happy birthday to Skylar. She is listening apparently out there in Unionville, and
Goodness.
that they're dedicated listeners. They are listening in the 5 o'clock hour. So happy birthday, Skylar, to you, and hope you have a great one. It's going to be really hot today. I think it's too hot to go to the state fair. Do you guys think it's too hot to go to the state fair?
It might be, honestly.
You could not catch me out at the state fair for, all the tea in China. By the way, did you hear that China is ripping us off?
They have been for forever.
They've been doing this. So here's what I don't get. So, and I'll do this at the top of the 6 o'clock hour, but to give you a bit of a sneak peek. So apparently what China is doing is they're basically, because we have the tariffs on China, so they're sending goods to places like Canada, and then Canada brings them into our country, or Mexico brings them into our country, skirting the tariffs on China. And so they've been doing this for a long time. Suddenly now, and this is where I'm going to poke the Trump administration a little bit, suddenly now this is a big deal, even though they've been doing it since 2018. But now we're getting tough. Details on that at 6. 5:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And the forecast is really top of the news today. We got to keep you updated on this because it's going to be dangerously hot for the next few days. Partly sunny today, high 98 degrees. And the heat index will be about 110. But Stefano tells us perhaps 115 in some areas. Partly sunny for Saturday, high 99. And then on Sunday, partly sunny, high 101. There is a heat alert for all 3 days. Now, while we're dealing with heat, some other places are dealing with flooding. More than a foot of rain fell yesterday in Indiana with flash flood emergencies being issued. And apparently, it's not the end.
In Indiana, they are still dealing with standing floodwaters in many areas, and this is not over just yet. There are flood watches through at least tomorrow in 8 states.
ABC's Alex Perez in Cambridge City, Indiana. Now, Indiana Governor Mike Braun has declared a state disaster emergency. The Pentagon is switching out aircraft carriers in the Middle East amid reports of poor conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has been deployed for a long stretch in support of the war against Iran.
The carrier and its 5,000 sailors and Marines have spent more than 250 days at sea, most of it supporting the war with Iran, including more than 200 straight days without a port call. A U.S. official confirms a sailor did go overboard this month, but was recovered. Families of those on board told the Military Times at least 2 sailors have tried to jump from the carrier. But Central Command says reports of a spike in suicidal thoughts among the crew are false.
And that's ABC's Hannah Battah. Now, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth telling Newsmax that the reports of sailors and Marines struggling are completely misrepresented. The USS George Washington now, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, is on its way from a port in Vietnam. It's been seen crossing the Strait of Malacca yesterday. A small fleet of self-driving Tesla cybercabs have been spotted in the parking lot of the Dover Center in Cool Springs. Now, these are pretty easy to identify. They're gold-colored cars. They have no side mirrors because they use cameras for navigation. News 2 reports that these 2 passenger vehicles have a driving range of almost 300 miles. The owner of a private chauffeur company in Nashville says they'll be used to help get people around the city, hinting they may be put to use soon. That's the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. All right, looks like the volume is picking up now on 24 westbound through the Laverne area, also on 65 south into the Hendersonville area. That's that spot of construction. It's starting to back up there. Otherwise, the roads look great this morning so far. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.536, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Welcome on in. It is Friday, August 14th. Hope you're doing well. By the way, I made a joke that it's earlier that it's going to be too hot for the state fair this weekend. A couple of people chiming in. It's too expensive for the state fair.
Ooh.
I don't know how expensive is the state fair. It's been years since I've been, but it can't be as bad as like your Universals or your Disneyland and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, whatever it is, it ain't worth it because, you know, those state fair rides, those are rickety, old, and scary.
$50? Oh, it's for all 10 days, though.
$50. So you get a fifth. Okay, so real quick, and then we're going to do Jones World. But what's the cost of the state fair? You say it's $50 for a 10-day pass?
That is what it appears to be, yeah.
Who would go for 10 days?
That's for all. That's for the whole fair.
I need to go on Traction.
Opening day special. It was $12 for adults, $4.50 for children ages 6 to 12, and free for children 5 and under.
That's not bad. Is that bad, Joan?
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad.
So, but I think that gets you in the door, but it doesn't get you like rides, tickets for the rides.
Oh, that's right. You've got
to
to buy the tickets to the rides and all that.
And if you want food, you got to pay for that too. So
yeah, I'm with you.
It can get expensive.
And here's the deal: is it worth it? That's the big question. Is it worth it? So 615-737-9986. It is time for
Jones World, party time. Excellent.
All right, excellent. It's I'll throw out there that it's excellent that it is Friday, but it is Jones World. Joan, I see the WNBA is in the news again.
Again. I mean, it just keeps going on and on. That chick, did Dejanay?
Sure.
Yeah, her.
Dijon Mustard?
Carrington. Yeah, Dijon Mustard. She didn't get kicked off the court this time. Last night, she got a white fan kicked out of the venue.
Seriously?
Well, yeah. So this is, I'm not even sure. Maybe this is ESPN or whomever.
Here's what it
as
sounds
it's happening.
Went over to one of the officials, as you see Sarah Williams there, to say something. So that is what is being handled at the moment.
So apparently a fan was kicked out. White fan.
It also just said something. There was a conversation with a fan sitting on the sideline.
Arena security will now deal with this.
They walk off.
The funny thing though is that they're laughing with a black fan behind them.
I know. Yeah,
so
they're having a good old
time. The black fan is like, probably, you didn't say anything, man.
So they will go and have a conversation.
I don't know what was or wasn't said. I will say respect for the players is something especially right now, that is being taken very seriously.
Unless you are Sophie Cunningham or Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, exactly.
At which time you get no respect from the league, from the other players.
From your coach.
That's a great point, Joan. From your coach.
Or you get elbowed in the mouth, the foul's on you.
And this ended. This was the Sky and Valkyries, I guess is the name of the Valkyries. And it happened at Chase Center in San Francisco. Now the guy went off and talked to those officials, but then they allowed him to come back. And one of the Valkyries officials said the fan was cooperative after the complaint that was unfounded. So
in other words, she was lying.
She was lying. Yes. Got a white fan kicked out, but only temporarily.
In that quarter, she went 1 for 9 for 3 points.
So she's got that big long blonde hair. Is that cultural appropriation?
100%.
I think so.
Obviously that's a wig.
Yep.
But she's got this big, for people that don't know, this woman, and she's the one that went after Sophie Cunningham.
Yes.
Right? So gave her that really nasty foul. She's got like a blonde, like hardcore blonde wig, and
wig.
it goes all the way down to like her butt. So, and she, the hair actually looks like Sophie Cunningham's hair.
I got $100 for anybody who takes it off of her.
Oh, can you
my
imagine?
gosh.
Ooh, can you imagine?
The Pentecostals work really hard to get their hair that long.
Is it easy to pull that kind of a wig off, Joan?
I think so.
Have you ever worn a wig?
No.
I've never.
No,
worn,
but I
you're
mean,
asking like I'm asking the question. I mean, I know Sam probably has. Sam, is it hard to pull that kind of a wig off?
If it's clipped in a certain way, yeah. See, for you, there'd be some kind of tape or glue
yes.
that would hold it on to the dome.
Yes.
Whereas she's got it weaved into the top of her real hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
It could be painful. It could be kind of hard to get loose.
Well, let's see.
Sorry. Joan.
Sorry.
Going for kneecaps and hair.
I think she's just a despicable human being, and she's putting it on display for the whole world to see.
I would like to see if that white fan will get a partial refund for missing part of that very exciting WNBA game when he was, hauled off the court and falsely accused of making racist statements.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if he sues.
He should get half of his $34 courtside seats back.
You know what? They ought to be happy that somebody's buying courtside seats for that piece of crap. Anyway, by the way, so apparently in the headlines yesterday, because we all know, we've been talking about it just very quickly about how the WNBA has been trying to define what a woman is.
Yeah.
Because you have a couple of former NBA players that are now wanting to be part of the WNBA because the WNBA has been seemingly pro-men in women's sports. And they're all tangled up in knots on this. They had like a couple of days where they all went off to some sort of a What is a Woman summit.
Yeah.
2 days. All these highfalutin people in the league. Joan, they couldn't come up with what a woman is.
They don't know what a woman is.
How is this? Are they really this inept and dumb at the WNBA? I mean, yeah, apparently so.
Maybe they consulted Ketanji Brown Jackson for a little help, and she's unaware too. So it gets caught up.
They're not biologists or scientists or whatever. So, By the way, apparently there was another vicious attack in the WNBA. This one from Angel Reese. And so, is there audio to this video, Joan?
I think this is just video.
All right. So I have not, and by the way, Joan's World, in case you don't know, I have not seen any of these stories, and I certainly have not seen the video. So if you're watching on Super Talk TV, we'll see it together. Who is the player that was hit, by the way?
I don't know who it is, but it's a black player.
Okay.
She didn't this time, hurt a white person.
Right. Ooh. So
are you watching it? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to make a shot, and the girl comes up behind her, and she knows she's behind her, so she throws her head back. And if this girl isn't flat out like in a concussion, out cold on the court, I don't know how she could survive. She gets hit so hard and then hits her head on the court.
Do you know, I don't watch basketball enough, and I don't know if you do, Sam, and I'm fairly certain Joan doesn't, but and that's not a slight. But are these kinds of hard fouls, are they typical in the NBA?
Not. 10 years ago, I would have said yes, but the league has become wussified, and so
I know
get hit like that, you might as well act like you've been shot.
I know that part of the dynamic is that there's a lot of flopping that goes on in the NBA too. I don't know if that's a WNBA thing, but there's a lot of flopping in the NBA too. So, that is part of that dynamic too.
I'll give the women credit. Like with the Sophie Cunningham flagrant foul by Dijon Mustard, LeBron would have rolled around on the floor for 5 minutes, grabbing at his shoulder or something. Like, in all fairness, that would have... Sophie got right back up and got in the girl's face and let her know she didn't like it. So I would actually say that the women play a little tougher in that aspect, because I hated that as a defender. If you were going to throw your body up and, woe is me, he bumped me, like, dude, stop being a wuss.
All right, so coming up next, Joan, we have an epic rant against Walmart. Set it up.
This is so much fun to listen to, because if you've ever gone to Walmart, you understand this guy's frustration. But he has just a cool way of expressing it. Go.
I'm going to make some of you mad. I don't care. I don't go to Walmart. I don't go to Walmart. Once a year, I might have to get something from Walmart in an emergency. That just happened to me. Can I just tell you, Walmart is not a store anymore. Walmart's a third world country with self-checkout lanes. You don't run into Walmart, you enter Walmart. There's a huge difference. You walk in looking for toothpaste, and somehow you're crossing 3 international borders. You witness a regime change in electronics, and you get caught in a humanitarian crisis over by the rotisserie chicken. Walmart doesn't need a greeter. They need an embassy worker. Welcome to Walmart. Keep your passport on you at all times. Don't drink the water. And if you hear yelling near customer service, do not make eye contact. I pull in the parking lot. I swear there's an antenna that draws the crazy in. I feel like the State Department should have sent me a text message warning me that I'm entering a high-risk area to avoid large crowds, maintain situational awareness, and have an evacuation plan. Well, there is no evacuation plan because the exit is blocked by somebody on a mobility scooter towing a second cart with a 96-pack of Mountain Dew and a kiddie pool and one loose watermelon rolling around on the bottom. And somehow, no matter what time I go, there's always that one dude walking around in pajama pants who looks like he's been living there since the Clinton administration.
Oh, man.
You don't leave Walmart thinking, well, I got what I went in there for. You walk out of Walmart now thinking, thank God I got out of there. I made it. Kiss the pavement, call your family, say I'm back on American soil. It's bad. I don't care if it makes you mad, but I ain't going back to Walmart. I love you. God bless you.
So, boy, there's a lot there. First of all, men wearing pajama pants has been something that has bugged the living crap out of me for I don't know how long. It's like, would it kill you to put on a pair of pants?
Yes.
Apparently so.
Are you a pajama pants wearer when you go out in public?
Sweatpants, like the jogger style sweatpants.
No, sweatpants are different than pajama pants.
It's the same mindset, though.
What's that?
It's the same mindset.
It's not the same mindset.
No.
There's a distinct difference between pajama pants with like little butterflies and dogs on them and sweatpants.
Sometimes bluey. I mean, honestly.
Yes, you see these grown men wearing pajama pants. It's different than sweatpants.
Fair point.
And then you've got athleisure, which I wear athleisure, and those are frankly more comfortable than sweatpants or pajama pants.
We need an athleisure sponsor just so you'll say athleisure.
Well, that's what they're called.
I think that there's probably a difference between, like, there's different levels of Walmart. So there's one on Joe B. Jackson in Murfreesboro, and that one is a really nice Walmart. They've got the stock of clothing is just a little bit more upgraded. It's very clean, well lit. I just feel like that one is a nice Walmart. When you go to the Manchester Walmart, where I live, it's not clean at all. It's just like this guy says. You feel like you're entering a zone that, like, you crossed over into something unusual. And there's always people outside who are selling dogs out of the back of their trucks.
Yeah.
What?
Honest to God.
Selling dogs?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Why would they do such a thing?
It's the way I guess they raise money. They breed their dogs and then take them to the Walmart and tell you that they're, perfect canine, whatever. And
what kind of dogs are they?
I never stop.
Well, okay, so not to dive too deep on that, but we actually do have like an unlicensed breeder problem in Tennessee, and people going and selling puppies, puppy mill style, out of their home in parking lots, and then they'll tell you it's this mix, it's a Havanese and what, and then you have it for 6 months and it grows to be 80 or 90 pounds, and it's like mixed with a pit bull.
It's a pit bull.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would buy a dog from a Walmart parking lot. It sounds really ghetto and sketch. You're right, Joan. The Hermitage Walmart, far different than the Mount Juliet Walmart.
Yeah.
Just a big difference.
Yeah.
So, and some of these Walmarts are now being renovated. They're being renovated, so some look a lot better these days. In Mount Juliet, I will say this: the Walmart in MJ is actually better than the Target in Mount Juliet.
I can tell you where the worst one is.
Where?
Dickerson Pike.
Okay.
Dickerson Pike Walmart. They've got 2 or 3 Metro Nashville security towers monitoring the parking lot at all times, and it's the only Walmart I've been in Middle Tennessee that has a gate to walk into the actual shopping center that I don't know if you're getting scanned or what, but you walk in a gate and walk out a gate compared to just the doors.
Okay.
Theft prevention, I think.
Let's talk about the sister of Abdul El Said, or as Sam likes to say, what is Abdul El Said's full name?
Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed.
Okay.
Abdul Muhammad Ebola Rahman.
Yeah.
So his sister.
His sister is somebody. She is actually a professor at the University of Chicago in the Department of Comparative Human Development, whatever that may be.
Wow. Look that up, Sam. I'm curious what that is. Comparative human development.
And the radical, was really, really trumped up in her family, in their family, because
look at these tweets.
There's some tweets here on X. Her name is Iman Abdul Hadi. And she says in one tweet, I hope the whole world rises against U.S. empire.
Another one,
Okay.
she says, excuse me if I don't celebrate the transfer of stolen land from one colonizer to another. Hashtag July 4th.
And
I mean,
here's
she's
the
a
last
loon.
one. Yeah. Lord, please help me have empathy and compassion for the people who are just now discovering that America is a pretty evil place that hates indigenous, black, brown, trans, queer, and poor people.
Do you know what I actually hate here's what I hate. You ready? I hate indigenous, black, brown, trans, queer, and poor people telling me that I hate them. That's what I hate. I don't hate them, but they keep telling me that I do. Eventually, I'm going to start hating them because they keep telling me that I hate them.
Yeah.
You want to know what comparative human development is?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. It is an interdisciplinary social science field studying how people grow, change, and experience life from birth to death. It combines anthropology, psychology, biology, and sociology to compare how culture, society, and biology shape human behavior across different global contexts over historical time.
It's a made up, stinking, retarded. Her interest on this, I don't know. I guess you would call it like her, I don't know. What would you call this? Her bio on the website for University of Chicago says her interests are religion, gender, identity, and demography. Like this woman and these made up. Are they even disciplines? I'm not even sure. This is all so made up, and it's designed to get people like her to hate America.
Well, it's and her students. It's designed. All of these classes at these colleges are designed to divide America. All these college classes and these majors, they are designed to try to paint America as a racist country, as a country that hates black, brown, indigenous, queer, trans, all that. And the reality is that most people like me could give a crap about any of that. So just leave me the hell alone and don't tell me who I hate and don't hate. You don't know who I hate. I have some hate in my heart, but it's not for those people. It's the people that tell me that I hate. Those are the people that I hate.
Yeah, it starts with targeting specifically white college students, and the entire idea of a coursework like this is to make you hate yourself, your family, and your history.
Yeah.
What went on in that El Sayed household when these kids were young that led them to be this way as adults? What happened to these people?
I would actually think for Abdul it happened when he was slaughtering thousands of dogs.
Why was he doing that?
He was over the health department in that aspect in his role. And so he oversaw
when he was in public health?
Yeah. He oversaw something like 4,000 euthanasia of animals. I mean, which is record high compared to other cities.
Wow.
Makes Anthony Fauci look like a saint.
Somebody responded to that post saying academia has turned into a safe haven for people who despise the very country that gives them the freedom to speak. And that's so true.
That's what it is. I mean, colleges these days are designed to raise little warriors for the left. And part of the left these days, as we all know, is hating America. It is 5:55, Nashville's Morning News. Joan has the news coming up at 6. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, got to get you ready for a hot streak that's coming this weekend. Starting today, as a matter of fact, we're going to tell you what Stefano has to say about it coming up in the news at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so based on our last conversation, Joan Jones, people are now sort of submitting their submissions for the worst Walmart in Middle Tennessee. People are like, "Oh no, it's the Dixon location. Oh no, it's the Lebanon location." One guy says, this is 0110, says the Walmart in Lebanon, certain times of the day when you go, it's like the bar scene out of Star Wars. So, and of course, the Manchester Walmart, on and on it goes. Dickerson Pike. I don't know.
Yeah, when Bonnaroo comes around, that's where all the homeless people stay.
Am I the only guy that actually likes going to Walmart in Mount Juliet? I like going to that one.
Yes, you establishment shill.
How does that make me an establishment shill?
Because it's a corporation run by a billionaire family.
Aren't they conservative?
Yeah.
They are.
I'm teasing you.
Well, then, okay.
See, I like the Joby Jackson one, too. I went in there the other day. I just like going there.
Yeah.
Cheap lures, man.
I don't have I've got clothes from Walmart. I have no problem with Walmart whatsoever.
I am wearing shorts from Walmart as we speak.
There you go. All right, very good. It is 6 o'clock. Jones got the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and we are looking at a brutal hot trend for the next couple of days.
We could hit 100 one or both days this upcoming weekend. Extreme heat and humidity are expected to continue now all the way through Mondays.
Yeah, the heat index reaching 115 in some areas just today, and it could be even hotter on Sunday. Be careful this weekend. In Cordova, Tennessee, near Memphis, a 6-year-old girl died after being left on a daycare van for hours yesterday. Her name is Winter Jones. She was discovered at a kid university just after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. She was taken to a nearby emergency room and pronounced dead there. Now, her uncle said that the child was non-verbally autistic and unable to alert anyone that she had been left on the van. The temperature outside at the time that she was discovered was 97. The Department of Children's Services confirmed the agency is involved in the investigation, and Kid University website has been suspended since last night. The Washington, D.C. hoaxers are at it again. Now the World War II memorial has been hit with brightly colored graffiti and soap bubbles in the fountain. The words "clean hands, dirty money" were written in orange along the inside of the fountain. The National World War II Memorial sits between the Washington Monument and Lincoln Memorial. It honors the 16 million Americans who served in the U.S. military during World War II, including more than 400,000 who died. Scott Wimpheimer traveled from Minnesota to visit that memorial, saying the vandalism felt personal to him.
It is a World War II monument. It's to all the people who died and fought and sacrificed for our country.
Yeah, crews could be seen there washing off the paint last night and trying to remove those suds. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
2 of the 3 major stock averages are on track for the 3rd consecutive weekly advance. The Dow Jones on Thursday gained 70 points to close at 53,840, while the Nasdaq added 0.8%. The S&P finished at a new record high. Mortgage rates haven't been this low in a month. The average rate for a 30-year fixed home loan standing at just under 6.7%. The biggest driver for the drop is a lower reading on inflation at the wholesale level. Americans' changing tastes and the nation's shrinking cattle herd are costing some people their jobs. Tyson Foods says it's restructuring its beef operations by closing 2 plants and pursuing the sale of a 3rd. The next flavor of Oreo cookies? Well, that's up to you. USA Today says 3 new varieties are being launched for a limited time: banana pudding, deep-fried Oreo, and chicken and waffle. Consumers will vote on which one will return next year. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures mixed, with the Dow futures down 78. The Nasdaq futures are up 56 and the S&P futures gaining 5. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. We're not Tennesseans. Yes, some volume starting to pick up now on the major roadways. Also an accident at Priest Park. It's on Bell Road at Ned Shelton Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Your friends, hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to Nashville's Morning News on Super.
What happened there?
I don't know. Sam, you didn't have me potted up on the board.
I didn't.
Come on, dude.
That was on me.
That was a great intro, too.
I'm sure it was.
It is now 6:07 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into your Friday, August 14th. And there's a lot going on, including the heat. We'll continue to monitor that. Scott Sapicki is going to join us coming up at 6:36. One of the questions that I'm going to ask Scott, he was, of course, on with Murphy's show yesterday, but I've got some different things that I want to speak to him about. One of them is an accusation that I did talk about in the 5 o'clock hour from an outgoing lawmaker, Jeremy Faison, that says that the state of Tennessee is actually veering far too right, is what Jeremy Faison says. And we did a Daily Dan poll on this. Real quick, Sam, what are people saying on the Daily Dan poll on YouTube?
Are Tennessee Republicans drifting too far right? 82% of respondents say no.
I don't believe that we are, and we'll talk to Scott Sapicki about that and some other matters involving education coming up here at 6:35, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, you can watch the radio show, Facebook, YouTube, 997WTN.com, Twitter, Twitch, and so on and so forth. You can listen to the radio show anywhere. And by the way, you can watch us and listen to us any time of the day as well. So, for example, if you missed the epic 5 o'clock hour this morning, you can go back and listen or watch anytime. And if you missed yesterday's 8 o'clock hour, which I thought was really good as well, you can go find that too. Oh, look, China is ripping off America. So we all know that some countries like China facing steep tariffs on their exports that are coming into our country. This is a really big story this morning. It turns out that China, what they've been doing is they've been routing their products through third countries to evade those tariffs. Now, who didn't see this coming? And I guess you would file this under, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Okay. But here's the deal. This has been going on for a long time, actually. And so now what I find interesting is the Trump administration admitting yesterday in this report that China is ripping us off of billions of dollars every single year. Well, this has been going on since 2018. Now, though, they've decided to start to do something about it. I've got some video. This is, by the way, they call this transshipping. We're losing somewhere between $26 and $40 billion every single year. Peter Navarro is the tariff czar, and he explains all of this in a hit yesterday with CNBC.
But what happened beginning immediately in 2018 is that China strategically began to develop methods of what's called transshipping. It's basically a modern form of smuggling. The crudest form of transshipping is when China takes a crate of widgets, sends them over to Vietnam or Mexico or Turkey or wherever, and then they swap labels. It comes into America at the lower tariff rate. China makes out like a bandit. The transshipping third country makes out because it's facilitating some commerce there, and we get cheated out of jobs and Treasury revenue.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's right. And he said, again, you just heard it right there, that this has been going on since 2018. But now we're using AI. So this is really interesting. A couple of things. Number one, guess who's coming to the White House in September? Xi Jinping, the China's president. So I'm sure that this will be something that he and President Trump will be talking about. You know, though, that nothing is going to change. That's been part of my frustration with China all along, is that they talk a good game. You know, whether it is Joe Biden, I'm going to say Donald Trump as well, although Trump has been stronger with China than Joe Biden ever was. But they make promises like, oh, yeah, we'll work really hard to ensure that the ingredients for the drugs that are killing Americans don't come from China. They don't go from China to Mexico only to be smuggled into our country and kill 100,000 Americans every single year. That's still happening. So the bottom line is, this is what China is doing, and we know that it has been going on, and we've known since 2018. So it's obviously really complicated. But apparently Canada and Mexico are some of the biggest offenders of being used by China to smuggle in these goods. Over time, these practices contributed to the development of a global network of production hubs, logistics platforms, free trade zones, bonded warehouses, processing corridors, and re-export centers, the report said of this transshipment practice. The report estimates that tariff-avoiding transshipment cost the U.S. $19 billion and $26 billion in revenue annually, between $19 and $26 billion in revenue annually. I've seen it higher than that. I've seen, depending on how you measure the revenue that we're losing, maybe somewhere around $40 billion. I really have no idea. I'm just stunned that, because we started really tariffing China hardcore back in 2018. And so now we're apparently going to start using AI to track this stuff. The Trump administration, they say, has taken steps to strengthen transshipment enforcement for years, according to the Associated Press. For years, the Great Transshipment Scam has let communist China launder its exports, Peter Navarro said, according to the Associated Press. You know how many countries are ripping off America? At least 40. 40 countries are ripping off America, helping China, including nations that are supposed to be our allies and our partners. The report actually names India, Japan, and countries in the EU as part of this shell game, South Korea as well. So now Peter Navarro is making the rounds, as you can imagine, and he's saying, oh yeah, you know what? We're going to start using AI to figure this out to help U.S. Customs and Border Protection identify suspicious shipments.
We're cracking down, and what's really interesting is this new AI detective border that we're developing at Customs and Border Protection. And what AI can do with this detective border, and one of the companies we're working with is Exeger, it's a fantastic company, is we can see in real time every boat and every container coming out in every port in the world. And what we can do with AI at the speed of scam is assess with a very high degree of accuracy the probability that that's a transshipment. And
all right, so that is Peter Navarro, the proposed system that we're about to start using or are using and refining would examine things like shipping routes, product information, ownership, and other data to help officials distinguish legitimate trade from attempts to evade tariffs. The message to the world is simple. The report wraps up by saying, the age of untraceable illegal transshipment is over. The report reads, what once seemed like quiet paperwork maneuvers, relabeling, repackaging, reinvoicing, has become a matter of economic sovereignty and national will. And again, that report comes ahead of an expected September visit to the U.S. by Chinese President Xi Jinping. That's going to be a lot of fun. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. .6:15 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as the weather goes, I mean, it is going to be really hot. We're talking about a few clouds today, a high of 98, going to feel like 110, maybe 115 in some places. On Saturday, a little hotter, high of 99. And on Sunday, a high of 101. Feels like it's going to be 110 to 115 on Sunday. So as we've been saying, too hot maybe for the state fair and perhaps even too hot for the swimming pool. So you definitely want to be safe out there. Do you know what I want to know from the super texters? 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Do you work outside? And if you work outside, just tell me what that's like. Because I can imagine that has got to be absolutely brutal because, and I feel for you, and I know we talked about this the other day, people seeing folks working outside and dropping them off a bottle of water. I think that is very cool for people to do. It is 6:16. Nashville's Morning News. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. So with all of that hand-wringing, the execution of Daryl Hines apparently went off without a hitch. This happened yesterday about 10.
Today, by the order of the Supreme Court, the Tennessee Department of Correction carried out the death sentence of Anthony Hines by means of lethal injection at the Riverbend Maximum Security Institution. Inmate Hines was pronounced dead at 10:43 a.m., and his last words were, "Tell my son hello."
So there's a number of things here. We talked about it yesterday. He was convicted of murdering a woman named Catherine Jean Jenkins back in 1985. There was a lot of worry because he was old and he had suffered strokes that they would not be able to find a vein for the IV. And so apparently there was some complications. Nobody's really talking about what those complications were, but they started the execution process apparently right around, or at least it was scheduled for 10 o'clock in the morning. He was dead by 10:43. They were worried because of the strokes that he had had. His left arm couldn't bend. His left hand was permanently clenched. They said that it would be too painful. They said that Daryl Hines would feel discomfort. You know, I don't know, raise your hand if anybody cares about the discomfort of inmate Daryl Hines after he killed a woman in cold blood back in 1985. The victim's children were there to see the whole thing, apparently, and they didn't have any sympathy whatsoever.
My family would like to thank the investigators, prosecutors, the district attorney's office, and everyone who worked tirelessly to bring accountability for the murder of my mother, Catherine Jean Jenkins. For 4 decades, our family has endured the unimaginable pain and grief of her death. There is a deep void that will never be filled, a lifetime of memories we were denied because she was taken from us. One senseless act not only took her life, but forever changed the lives of the many family members and friends who were robbed of the chance to hug her, laugh with her, hear her stories, or see her beautiful smile again.
I mean, somebody please remind me about how convicted murderers getting the death penalty does not bring the families, I don't know if I would call it closure, but at least what it does is that it gives them a sense that there are consequences. Because that's what this family is feeling. I mean, you could tell that obviously they still carry the pain of their mother's murder. And there's a number of different things at play here, right? So you have the fact that they grew up without a mother, but there's also the thought of your loved one being brutally murdered. I mean, that's also something that haunts you forever. So I don't know whether or not it gives these families a sense of closure or not. I strongly suspect that it depends on that particular family and that particular person. But what it does do is it at least gives them a sense that there are some consequences for the murder of their loved ones. And you heard her say it. You know, to me, at least she lived long enough to see her mother's murderer face some consequences. Here's a little bit more.
How do we move forward from a loss like this? The truth is we never truly do. We will always mourn the wonderful person my mother was, even as we continue living our lives. While today does not bring closure, nor does it bring my mother back, it does finally bring justice. Our focus remains on honoring her memory and finding peace as a family. After so many years, we are finally able to close this chapter of our lives and begin to heal. We respectfully ask for privacy as we navigate what lies ahead.
I love what she says. I do. I like the fact that they're glad that he's dead. No apologies whatsoever. But that's not even half the story. Wait till you hear what the son of this murder victim had to say. That is all straight ahead. It is 6:22 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Remember, Scott Sapicki is going to be joining us at 6:36. And Scott, if you happen to be listening, I think it's on the phone, but if he's coming to the station, whatever. I'm also going to ask you, what would it take to change our method of execution to the firing squad, like other states? Do you know what? Let's do a Daily Dan poll real quick. Sam, let's do a Daily Dan poll. Should we, here in the state of Tennessee, do like other states and have our main way of executing people the firing squad? Didn't you and I agree on this yesterday, Joan?
We did.
Yeah, that it should be the firing squad.
We talked about it before.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot cheaper because we talked about how it costs like thousands of dollars to put these, frankly, to put these dogs down, and
hundreds of thousands
of dollars, as opposed to,
which means you got a budget for a couple mil.
Yeah. I mean, how much does, they probably, if I read how South Carolina does it, they've got 5 people with rifles, and they don't know which one has the actual bullets and who has blanks, but there's probably, 5 to 10 bullets in total, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what Idaho's doing too, and they only spent money renovating the facility to do that.
Yeah.
After that, then it's go buy a box
And
of
there are
bullets.
people who volunteer to do such things.
Oh, we talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about that. And I thought that would be a very interesting, I'm trying to think of the mentality of the people who volunteer. Like, I'm not judging them. I'm not saying it's wrong or it's bad. I'm just trying to think of why would somebody want to volunteer?
I actually have a family friend that participated in it. He's older. He's done it before, and he served in Korea. And so in his mind, it was removing the burden from somebody else of taking someone else's life, because he'd done it before and he had already kind of dealt with the ramifications of that mentally, and it didn't bother him as much.
Well, and here's the thing, is that if I were ever an executioner, this is getting into silly mode, but if I were ever an executioner and I had some misgivings, all you have to do is read the details of what Daryl Hines did to Catherine Jean Jenkins back in 1985. It is, and we're not going to talk about it because it is morning drive and kids are in the car. It is absolutely horrifying. You read the report, you realize what this animal did, and I don't care how old he is or how much pain he's in. Yeah, I'd be okay to pull the trigger. It is 6:24, Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up, we'll talk about that baby that was born in Texas that is the center of surrogacy and abortion and the debate in the country. It's coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
625 Nashville's Morning News. Why would you not go to Brentwood Jewelry for all your jewelry needs? I can tell you, this is a great jewelry store. They are, simply put, the best in Middle Tennessee. They've got incredible selections of watches for both men and women for any budget, and great selections of Rolexes, both new and used. If pocket knives are your thing, they do feature the ever so popular William Henry collection. And if you're getting engaged, they've got everything from wedding bands to semi-mount engagement rings and a whole lot more. Brentwood Jewelry, gentlemen, if you're looking for something for that special lady in your life, they do feature bracelets, earrings, necklaces, and a whole lot more. Again, great prices and selection, outstanding customer service. So, find them online, BrentwoodJewelry.com. In store, 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Be sure to tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Exceptional styles, exceptional deals. Every day for over 50 years. BrentwoodJewelry.com, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Dan Mandis here. Back to school time means back to busy schedules, homework, and activities. The last thing you need, especially with this really hot weather that we're going to have this weekend, is to worry about your HVAC. Let Busy Bee do that for you with big time savings right now. Now, this month, here in the month of August, you schedule an HVAC maintenance or repair, and you get a free dryer vent cleaning that is added safety and one less thing that you've got to worry about. If you need a new HVAC system altogether, buy a high-efficiency unit, and you'll be entered to win Busy Bee's Healthy Hive giveaway. That is a $1,500 sponsorship for the local school of your choice. You can also gift your favorite teacher or staff member a Beehive membership. You can also get $500 off of a gift card. You can get a $500 gift card with qualifying whole home repipes or mainline replacements. And with approved credit, enjoy 0% financing for 18 months. So many ways to save. My Place Busy Bee HVAC. Find them online, busybeehvac.com. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. Don't forget, with approved credit, enjoy 0% financing for 18 months. 615-775-7833. busybeehvac.com.
Good morning. It's now 6:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And a former Giles County deputy has been indicted on several charges. News 2 is saying that deputy and his case was presented to a grand jury, which did return the indictments.
The sheriff tells us it comes after an arrest where the deputy used a taser while arresting a suspect. Deputies say Stenson Thomas worked with the department from 2019 until July 31st of this year when he resigned.
Thomas has been charged with official misconduct, destruction and tampering of government records, perjury, and assault. Thomas reportedly turned himself into the Giles County Jail and has since been released on bond. A baby born in Texas this week is at the center of a debate over abortion. The mother was hired as a surrogate for a couple in Los Angeles, but when it was discovered that this baby had a rare and life-threatening heart condition, the LA couple told that surrogate to have an abortion. She refused and instead traveled from her home in Alaska to Texas to have the baby in a safe state. Here's ABC News legal contributor Chana Lloyd.
So what has happened is the state of Texas has stepped in because they have laws that allow them to override parental decisions when it comes to medicine in the interest of the newborn. And so essentially what the state of Texas has said is that on behalf of the newborn, they need these medical procedures and that they will have them regardless of what the parents or the surrogate want.
Yeah, and in fact, the Trump administration's Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights warned those hospitals in Texas the baby must receive life-saving medical care, that federal law prohibits withholding medical treatment based on a person's disability. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:33, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Times are tough, and if you need a new vehicle, check out my friends at Mid-10 Ford. They've been helping people out for years. As a matter of fact, 56 years here in Middle Tennessee. Now, what they do is you go on in to Mid-10 Ford or mid10ford.com onto the website, the brick and mortar location, 1319 Foster Avenue. They are going to find you the vehicle that you need at the absolute best price possible. Right now, by the way, if you go to their website, figure out how you can save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing if you need it as well. This is how they've been in business for so many years. Mid-10 Ford, they are a one-stop shop. So you can buy your vehicle there. You can get it serviced there at Mid-10 Ford. They even have a body shop as well. So if you want a brand new vehicle, you want a pre-owned vehicle, Ford trucks, obviously, you can check out all the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales and maximum customer service, which is not something that you often see. Now, this is a family-owned business going back 4 generations, so they know how to treat customers. They know how to treat you. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Call them 615-259-2050 to get the process started. Find out how they can help you save money on your next vehicle. 615-259-2050, mid10fordtrucks.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram as well. Got to tell you, this is a great company. Let their family take care of your family.
All right, you've got a stalled out vehicle on 40 eastbound at Hermitage Avenue. It's in Southside. The stalled out vehicle is stuck in the right lane. Looks like the car is actually in the gore, but it's the police department that's in the right lane blocking it. Priest Park, that crash still there on Bell Road at Ned Shelton Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's actually Scott Sapicki. 6:38, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. State lawmaker Scott Sapicki joins us via phone. And Scott, Sam was very excited because apparently somewhere on the computer we have the Scott Sapicki theme, and it is Superman. I don't know. That's a lot to live up to, Scott. I don't know.
Well, that was put on there a long time ago. That was my walk-up music when I played for the Nashville Sounds.
Oh, got it. Boy, that was your walk-up music when you played for the Sounds?
Yeah, that's what the lady who played the organ chose for me was Superman.
Okay. Was it embarrassing if you struck out?
Yeah, but hopefully I didn't have too many of those episodes and it worked out okay.
All right, very good. Leave it to me to make it awkward. I tried. All right, very good. So a bunch of things I want to talk to you about. I know that you were on Murphy's show yesterday. I want to talk to you about some different things today. First of all, I want to play a piece of audio. I was talking about the execution of Daryl Hines yesterday, which it happened. I mean, they were able to do what they needed to do. He was pronounced dead at 10:43, but apparently he suffered. Now, just so we're clear, I don't care if he suffered, and apparently neither does the son of her victim. This is what he said.
Yes, I hope he did suffer. I hope he felt severe pain, because what he did to my mother is nothing what he may have just gone through. And for those hotshot attorneys out there that are trying to make a name for yourselves by defending these cold-blooded murderers, I mean, I don't understand your mentality.
Yep. So, and I'm right there with him. Of course, we do understand that everybody needs to have their day in court. But, you know, I've got to ask this, Scott Sapicki, has there ever been any thoughts in the state legislature to perhaps change our method of execution, our main method of execution to the firing squad like we've seen in some of these other states recently?
Yeah, that normally happens on the criminal justice or the judiciary committees when they talk about the capital crimes and punishment for those individuals that create and are found guilty by their peers of the most heinous crimes in society that have given up their right and their ability to participate with our normal lives. I think one of the things you're seeing with these lethal injections is I think the prisoners, in my opinion, are talking to each other about how to make it as difficult as possible.
Yep.
Such as, you know, not drinking water and suppressing your vein system and your artery system to where it makes it difficult to get these lines in. Maybe we need to do a better job of hydrating these prisoners before we take them in. But there has been some discussion about getting things to a point to be more efficient. I kind of agree with you, Dan, that when you do these most heinous crimes, I'm not too concerned about your feelings and your suffering because of the suffering that you put your victims through. And these are the penalties reserved for the most dangerous and lethal in our society.
Yeah, and I think that part of what's going on, you're right. Number one, they try to make it as difficult as possible to get executed. That's number one. Number two is I do believe that they try to make it seem like they're in as much pain as possible just because they've been spending so many years trying to fight their execution. And so even, this is my opinion, even in their final dying moments, my opinion is they're also going to be a bit performative just because they're trying to help the next guy that's going to be put down as they should be put down. But, we know that they're playing games, right? We know that you've got activists that will do everything they can to prevent states like Tennessee from getting the drugs that we need to be able to put these people down. So I just believe that if we brought back the firing squad, that would make it a lot easier. As a matter of fact, we did a Daily Dan poll on this. I would be willing to bet the vast majority of people taking the poll agrees that the state of Tennessee should try to do like South Carolina just did and other states and start utilizing the firing squad.
80% say yes.
80% say yes. So other news, though, I want to play you a piece of audio. This was something that I talked about yesterday, and you and I exchanged some text messages on this. This is a woman named Samira Hardcastle. She is a former teacher from Metro Nashville Schools.
My name is Samira Hardcastle. I was Teacher of the Year at John F. Kennedy Middle School in Antioch this past year and Blue Ribbon Teacher of the Year for the district. What you have in front of you right now is my resignation letter.
Yeah, she was in front of the school board, and she had a lot of these allegations against the Metro School Board and the district, generally speaking. Among those allegations, I'm going to go through some of these because, Scott, you and I have spoken about this so many times about Dr. Adrian Battle and, the $6 million in lawsuits that had to be settled. No questions asked by the media, no questions allowed to be asked by the media. But Samira said that teachers were being forced to change bad grades just because bullying parents demanded it. She is also accusing the district of not protecting teachers from bullying parents. And she also accused the district of faking data regarding disruptive students. And finally, one of the other things that she said, again, among others, is that the district stole $500 out of her paycheck to give to other teachers, apparently. So I don't know. And she also said something about teachers not being certified and accusing the district of lying about filling the teaching gap, the teachers gap. So, I mean, talk about, you heard that segment. So talk about what I played and, what is happening with Metro Nashville Schools.
All right. So let me walk you through this, first of all, Dan. A couple years ago, it was made aware to the General Assembly that Metro Nashville had a policy that it was actually written down. It was a written policy that you were prohibited from giving a student anything less than a 50 on a test. If the student walked in and did nothing and turned the paper back in, the teacher had to give them a 50. We ran a bill a couple years ago. It's in 49-6-407, and I'll read it to you. An LEA shall not create a local grading policy or procedure that establishes a minimum grade above 0 that a student may earn for coursework, which means if a student earns a 0, you have to give them a 0. So if Metro Nashville is doing something contrary to that, number one, Dr. Battle is in violation of state law. That's the first problem. Second problem is I listened to Ms. Hardcastle, and I looked her up. And Dan, she was probably one of our best teachers in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So this is coming from somebody who's excellent at what she does. A couple years before that, about 4 years ago, we passed a bill that I've talked about called the Teachers Discipline Act, which is in state law. It's 49-6-2801 that specifically gives the teachers the ability to remove a repetitively disruptive student from their classrooms and prohibit that student from coming back into their classrooms unless the teacher approves it, Dan, and enable for that student to come back into the classroom. There has to be a meeting with the principal, the guidance counselor, a social worker, and the parents, along with the teacher, to come up with a corrective action plan. We have addressed both of those concerns, and it was required of the districts to adopt both of those. If they have not, then Dr. Battle is in violation of state law again. And I think what we're getting to here is we have a district that has been underperforming for decades, full of excuses, and we've had enough. We've had enough with Memphis, and we're reaching to a point that we've had enough with Nashville. And I've asked the speaker, like we did with Memphis, in next year's budget to appropriate money to do a forensic audit on the financials and the policies of Metro Nashville. And let's pull back the curtain. Let's see exactly where we are with Metro Nashville in regards to what they're doing in educating our students.
I mean, I've said this 1,000 times regarding Adrian Battle. It just feels like she's got something on somebody, and she is apparently above reproach. I love what I'm hearing. How are the scores in Metro Nashville? I hear so many differing stories. I hear that they're up, but then I look it up, and the scores may be up, but it looks like they're still well below the rest of the state.
Yes, they are, unfortunately. Now, I will give them credit. They've gotten better, but if you look at the legislation that we've passed in the General Assembly requiring certain things, it's evidence that what we're doing in Nashville in the General Assembly is having a direct correlation to academic scores. But here's the latest numbers, Dan, and this is straight from the Tennessee report card. In third grade, the state average is 45% on literacy. Now, that's nothing to be happy with, but we used to be at 27% about 6 years ago. Metro Nashville's at 35.9%, so they're almost 10 points behind state average. In sixth grade, it drops to 30% on grade level. In ninth and 12th, it drops to 27. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Remember, K through 12 is a journey for a student that when they graduate, Dan, they have enough knowledge and the ability to perform so that they can choose what they want to do in life. Community college, TCAT, 4-year in the military. Metro Nashville's ACT scores. Now, able to qualify for Hope Scholarship, and you know what that is, Dan, Hope Scholarship, you have to have a 21 on the ACT or a 3.0 GPA. These are the ACT scores, the latest ACT scores from Metro Nashville. The composite ACT score for Metro Nashville is 17.6. English language arts is 16.5, math is 17.1, science is 18.1, and reading is 18. How are we preparing those students for the opportunity at the next level? We're not.
No, we're not. I played some audio from a teacher a couple of days ago, and this teacher was actually crying because it was at the end of a school year, and he realized that the students that he was teaching simply were not ready to move on to the next stage of their life. And by the way, Chris in the text line says, as a teacher, I wholeheartedly endorse Scott Sapicki. So I think that there's a lot of teachers that, appreciate what you're saying. And
well, I think what the teachers want is they want to do their job.
Yeah.
Their job is to teach these kids because they believe in these kids and they believe in what they're doing to transform these kids from the situations they're in to the opportunities they could have. And without education, we are cheating these children, and we've got to stop doing it.
Real quick, there is a story, and I'm just going to give you the headline, and I'll let you comment on it, because I know obviously you were a big part of the Governor Lee's voucher program.
Mm-hmm.
From, I think this is the WKRN. Majority of new vouchers went to higher income families this school year, state data shows. So you'll have a lot of people, and I'm for the vouchers, as people probably know. I was a big supporter of it. As a matter of fact, I got criticized for that, but that's fine. But, the critics of this will say, oh, exactly, the rich families are the ones that are taking advantage of this, and, all that. And I don't know, what's your comment on that?
Well, see, that's a lot of misinformation there, is because if you look at it, the data shows that 9,300 roughly of the new scholarships of the 15,000 went to a category of students, and what they put in there was at up to $173,000 a year, but they didn't tell you what the starting dollar amount for those families were, and it was $61,000, Dan. So 9,000 scholarships of the 15 went to families that had an income from $61,000 to $173,000. So let me tell you something. If you're making $65,000 a year, you're not rich.
No.
And so now below that, of the 15,000, almost 4,000 went to those families below 61,000. So I think what we're looking at is we need to, there's data there, and then there's skewed data. And you know this, Dan. You can take whatever data you want and make it say whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
But the facts are, facts are 9,000 scholarships went between 61,000 and 173.
I used to be a program director. I know all about trying to manipulate numbers. Totally get it. All right, real quick, and I so this came up. Believe it or not, I go out and I socialize at times, and I talk politics with folks because that's what I like to talk about. So we're talking about Senator Marsha Blackburn. I believe that she's going to be governor, and your name actually came up about the possibility of a spot within the Blackburn administration. You've been all about education. Do you see the possibility of you maybe joining the Blackburn administration, education commissioner maybe, or something like that?
Well, I mean, that's very flattering. The work that I've been trying to do, I take this seriously about education. If and I believe it's going to be Governor Blackburn. If Governor Blackburn would call me and ask me to have a conversation about helping on the executive side of education, I would definitely sit down and speak with her about that and see where I can best serve the people of Tennessee.
How big of a difference is there between like a commissioner and a deputy commissioner? Is a deputy commissioner like just the second in command?
Yeah, it's kind of like the right-hand man of the commissioner.
Okay.
Normally, I'll give you a great example. Remember Bill Dunn, Representative Bill Dunn?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Representative Bill Dunn served as deputy commissioner, and normally what they do is they sometimes choose somebody from the legislature to help the new commissioner with the liaison between the General Assembly and the executive branch.
Well, you'd be perfect for that too, based on your years in the state legislature.
Well, I'm very flattered by that. I appreciate that.
All right, real quick. I'm already running late. Jeremy Faison was quoted as saying, and I did this earlier, Jeremy Faison was quoted as saying for this docuseries that he felt like the state of Tennessee, the Republicans, are veering too far to the right.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. He's an outgoing lawmaker and, whatever, but...
I'll tell you what, this is all I'm going to say about that, Dan, is bless his heart.
Okay. And with that, you know what? That's fine because I'm running so late anyway. Scott Sapicki, always great to have you on. Thank you very much for that. I still think that I hope somebody in the state legislature or somebody in the state changes our method of execution to the firing squad. And I just think that is something that we really need to do. It is 6:54. Joan's got the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Yeah, we're going to get you prepared for this brutal heat wave that's going to hit this weekend. In fact, I think it's here now. It's coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Joan, you okay out there? Because, Joan is broadcasting from home today. And I know that where you are in your house, there's actually no AC in your closet or something, wherever you're broadcasting from.
Yeah, I'm good, though.
Are you okay so far?
Oh, yeah. No, I do have air conditioning, but... it's such a long explanation. But the room that I'm in was initially a porch. So when they constructed this house, they didn't put air conditioning in this particular room. So I have like a wall unit kind of thing, but it's really loud. So I turn it off just for you, Dan, because I know it makes a lot of noise.
It does make a lot of noise. Sam just whispered into my headphones because we're already running late, and you went into like a 45-second explanation. Sam whispers into my headphones, "You did this to yourself."
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Joan. Well,
there you go.
We'll talk to you. Yeah. Joan's coming up with the news at 7. USS United Structural Systems. Listen, whether we're talking about waterproofing, concrete leveling, or foundation repair, my friends at USS, they are the best here in Tennessee. Now, these types of issues, they don't get better over time. Actually, they get worse without the proper fix. You know that, and I know that, and they know that. And that's why they are trying to help you. They've helped me over the years with my foundation. And yes, they can help you too. They've got some really great, but for a limited time, some really great special financing options if you need the help. Get a 10% discount when you pay in full, or fix it now, pay it later. With 18 months, no payments, no interest, or choose 36 months, no interest with low payment option for qualified homeowners. Call them at 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, website ussTN.com. Dan Mandis here from Mark Spain Real Estate. If you're stuck in a home that you can't sell, call Mark Spain. If your open houses are being ignored, call Mark Spain. There's some homes in my neighborhood, man. They have been on the market for months. And I can imagine that those homeowners, they're getting desperate. As I've said before, I'm going to walk up to the door, knock on the door, and say, call Mark Spain. 855-299-SOLD. Their guaranteed offer does indeed keep you in control. You're going to get out of your home fast and with maximum profit. They've got over 72,000 clients. That's right, 72,000 clients. They are the number one most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. This is the company that I recommend for selling your home. Call them right now and get on with the next chapter in your life. 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and want to get you all prepared for what's coming weather-wise this weekend. Here's Stefano DiPietro at Channel 4.
We could hit 100 one or both days this upcoming weekend. Extreme heat and humidity are expected to continue now all the way through Monday. So those first alert weather days, they continue for us.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Temps will take a bit of a break heading into next week. Well, it looks like accused killer Luigi Mangione is going to plead guilty this morning in the federal trial connected to the 2024 killing in Manhattan of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. There is a hearing scheduled for 11 o'clock Eastern time this morning. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer does not expect this is going to be your typical plea deal.
You could take a plea in two different ways. As a defense attorney, you could talk to the prosecutor and say, hey, let's hash this out. Let's get a plea deal. And that's what we're usually accustomed to. But as a defense attorney, if you're getting nowhere with the prosecutor and they're not giving you an offer, they're not giving you something that your client wants to take, you're allowed to turn directly to the judge and say, hey, judge, what will you give me? Now, the difference between that is the judge can't dismiss any of the charges to then make the deal sweeter for you.
Yeah, speaking on a podcast there, the plea is not official until it's announced at that hearing this morning. We are going to keep an eye on it. Here in Nashville, a convicted killer was put to death yesterday despite numerous attempts at clemency and reprieve. Anthony Darrell Hines died by lethal injection at the Riverbend Maximum Security Prison yesterday morning. Now, initially, he had no last words, but before the injection, he told a witness, "Tell my son I love him." Hines raped and killed motel maid Catherine Jenkins in 1985 in Kingston Springs. A statement from Catherine Jenkins' son Dennis afterward.
Yes, I hope he did suffer. I hope he felt severe pain, because what he did to my mother is nothing what he may have just gone through. And for those hotshot attorneys out there that are trying to make a name for yourselves by defending these cold-blooded murderers, I don't understand your mentality.
And finally, this morning, a West Nashville neighborhood on edge after a mother reported a man tried to lure her son into his car. She spoke to WSMV4.
My son was walking the dogs like he always does, and a car randomly comes up to him and opens the passenger door and aggressively tells him to get inside the vehicle. My son says no. Thank God he had the dog, because I don't know what else would have happened. And the man shut the door and sped off aggressively.
She said this happened at the River Plantation neighborhood in Bellevue last Thursday. So far, no arrests. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures mixed. Dow futures down 69, but the NASDAQ futures up 75. S&P futures up 7 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Like we've got some heavy volume this morning on 24 westbound Laverne into Nashville. It's also pretty slow on 65 south into the Goodlettsville area. Again, Goodlettsville, Hendersonville area. That's that construction spot holding things up. And also pretty slow on 24 heading eastbound. Joelton all the way into the merge with 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.707 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And Joan, you played an audio bite that I played earlier in the broadcast from the son of the murder victim from this guy that they put down yesterday. Can you replay that for me real quick? Do you have the ability to play that real fast?
I do.
Because I think he actually brings up an interesting point.
Okay.
Where?
Yeah, here we go. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, come on.
Yes, I hope he did suffer. I hope he felt severe pain. Because what he did to my mother is nothing what he may have just gone through. And for those hotshot attorneys out there that are trying to make a name for yourselves by defending these cold-blooded murderers, I mean, I don't understand your mentality.
So, I don't know if this dude that was put down yesterday, Daryl Hines, I don't know if he had a public defender or if he had one of these activist, attorneys. But I did. This was many years ago. But I was talking about the attorneys that defend like the worst of the worst. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I
like
do.
a guy like Daryl Hines. And Joan, you and I were talking before the show about what Daryl Hines actually did to Catherine Jean Jenkins back in 1985. It is horrifying, so horrifying we can't actually talk about it on the radio. And so I've talked about that before. I actually had a defense attorney call me on the air and talked about, because I said, what kind of an attorney? You spent how much money and how much time going through law school, and you want to defend these people? And the defense attorney said to me, and it was like, you know what? Somebody has to defend them, and we have a constitutional right to a fair trial. And so somebody has to do it. And he considered himself, this guy, a constitutionalist in defending these folks. And I came away from that phone call with a little bit of a different perspective. I just don't know how they do it.
No, I don't know how they do it and go to sleep at night.
Like when you
suppose they were able to get this guy off the hook and he didn't have to die and he lived in prison for the rest of his life, whatever. Even if he lived, on the street, whatever. The guy did what he did and he needs to pay for it. And the family never gets closure, even if he does die. I don't know how you live with it. I don't know how you sleep at night.
And here's the other thing that I would say is, how do you do that when there is irrefutable evidence that this guy did it?
Yeah.
How do you, in good conscience, defend someone like that in a court of law? You almost have to suspend reality and just sort of with blinders on, just do your job and try to make sure that he does get a fair trial.
Well, your tax dollars are paying for it. Daryl Hines' legal team consisted of federal public defenders.
There you go.
So
there you go.
And
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's paying for it. I don't know how they sleep at night.
Well, it's easier to sleep when your retainer to show up to court is $50,000, I would imagine. but I don't understand the groveling. Apparently, the lead attorney was filing emergency motions up until they took him back into the room, questioning how prison staff planned to safely restrain and transport Hines' partially paralyzed body.
I think probably they have a problem with the death penalty. That's the only thing that I can think of, is that they have a philosophical, moral issue with the death penalty. That's why they are working so hard to, save this guy, Daryl Hines. And if there's anybody that should be put down like a dog, it was him.
And to harp on it, we have it with other things when it comes to, specifically liberal women voting on immigration issues to what they welcome immigration, the suicidal empathy. It's a female lead attorney that's doing it. So I'm sure when you've got a 66-year-old man who's half paralyzed from having 2 strokes, the empathy center is going to kick in, the sympathy centers kick in. You go, oh, he's just a poor old man at this point. And it's like,
that's not, like we said yesterday, who cares?
Exactly.
This took 40 years. As far as I'm concerned, that's 35 years too long. Where were you saying, Sam? You and I were talking off the air about this Tennessee execution, and you said that there was like 3 other, Joe, and I don't know if you know this. There was our execution of Daryl Hines. There were 2 other executions yesterday across the country.
Yeah, in Alabama and Oklahoma.
And was it Alabama where
case.
Yeah, five years it took to get this guy put down.
Alabama executed 42-year-old Jeremy Williams by lethal injection at the William C. Holman Correctional Facility in Atmore on August 13, 2026. Williams was put to death for the 2021 rape and murder of 5-year-old Camerie Holland. He had waived his appeals and asked the state to carry out his death sentence.
He asked for it to happen.
He said, get it over with.
This case, and I read, unfortunately, and I can't get it out of my head now, I read the details of this case. It is the most disgusting case I had ever heard in my life.
Would you like to hear what he pleaded guilty to?
Remember, I don't want to get gruesome.
Yeah.
It's not gruesome. That's just what the official record is.
Okay.
Williams pleaded guilty in March of 2024 to capital murder, rape, sodomy, and abuse of a corpse.
Okay. So.
Enough.
Yep. I mean, that's fine. I mean, just listen, evil exists. Evil exists. And these defense attorneys that defend people like this, I don't know how they do it, as I just said, not to go on with this. I don't know how they do it. I just don't. By the way, his final words, tell my son hello.
Yeah.
So his son was actually.
No, he loves him.
His son was actually present as a witness to the execution. According to the Associated Press, Hines, and the son had reconnected just a few days before he was executed, after not seeing his father since he was 3 years old. So, and I don't know the details of that, nor do I care, but I can't imagine that being your father. And I guess he was very upset about the fact that his father was about to be executed. It's hard for me to put myself in those positions. I can't imagine what this guy was going through. His father is about to be put down. You haven't seen him in, years and years and years. And now you do see him. He's about to be executed. I don't know what's going through the person's mind, but say hello to my son for me, which is kind of weird because he was in the room, but whatever. I just think that there's a lot here, but I think that ultimately he did deserve to die, and I'm glad that he's dead. And I'm glad that, as I said in the 6 o'clock hour, if it doesn't give a family closure, at the very least, it does give a family justice. And isn't that what we're always hearing from a lot of these activists?
Justice.
Mm-hmm. They want justice.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know what? The family of this victim did get their justice. All right, it is 7:15. We have a new ICE facility coming to Tennessee, apparently. Joan reported on this a couple of days ago. We're getting a little bit more detail on this straight ahead. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be hot. It's going to be very hot. And as far as today goes, a few clouds, a high of 98, feels like 110, maybe up to 115 in some areas. Saturday, little hotter, high of 99. Sunday, high of 101, feels like it's going to be 115 and appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Joe and I was playing around with the idea of doing that age-old radio bit that I've done a couple of times already, and that is, what is your favorite hot song?
Yeah.
I know. It's been done to death, hasn't it?
Yeah,
But everybody
sure
always
has.
seems to like it when we do it. So Sam and I started arguing about who was going to be allowed to use Foreigner's Hot Blooded. And so I said, Sam can go ahead and use Foreigner's Hot Blooded. I would use Hot in the City by Billy Idol.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we know. And by the way, Sam, we're not doing that because it's just too lame. But, okay.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
How about Hot Child in the City?
Hot Child in the City is another one.
Yeah.
So there you go. People love when we do that. I feel like that bit has been done so to death that I don't want to do it again. It's like I don't want to insult the listener's intelligence by doing that bit one more time.
I would feel like it's appreciated when it's going to be, I mean, this is leave a tray of cookies in your car from noon to 2 and watch it cook. Heat. Like, it's just...
Put it on the hood of the car or put it inside?
Put it inside. And
yeah.
I mean, then your whole car smells like cookies.
That would be so nice, wouldn't it?
If you can stand to get in and get them out.
I don't think, how hot does a car get when...
So
because you bake cookies at like 350 to 400.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't get 400 degrees inside of a car.
No, that's why it takes, a couple hours.
Yesterday, I don't even know if I should relate this, but there was the death of the young girl in out by Memphis who was left in a hot van. And they were saying that, it was 97 degrees outside. And that means that inside the van, it was like 120, 140 degrees.
All right.
But
awful.
Yeah, it is awful. So just a reminder to everyone, check your backseat before
you have
get
music
out.
playing. This is not a music appropriate topic,
this is
Sam.
not.
Sam's not listening. He can't even hear me.
That's not me. It's Joan.
Was that you, Joan?
Could be.
I'm yelling. So behind the
Some things
scenes,
open here.
Behind the scenes, I'm yelling at Sam because Joan is talking about a horrifying thing that happened in Memphis with a kid in a hot car, and I'm hearing music playing, and I'm like, Sam, stop it! She's talking about, and then it was coming from Joan.
I was scrambling. I was not.
It's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Sorry about that.
At least it wasn't me. All right, 7:18, Nashville's Morning News. So apparently there is a new ICE facility, maybe, coming to Robertson County. Do you find it interesting, Joan, that they're not, this is near Adams in Robertson County?
My neighborhood.
Is that where you live out there in Adams?
I'm in between Adams and Cedar Hill.
How do you feel about an ICE facility possibly coming to your neighborhood?
I feel like they should probably widen a couple of the roads.
Now, we don't know if it's going to be a detention center. All they're saying is it's a support facility.
Yeah.
I can tell you more about it.
Do it.
It's a call center. It's going to be a call center. It's also going to serve as a support center for the police departments and the sheriff's offices that are working with ICE, and it helps those officers. And, I'm not sure exactly what they'll be doing there. But one of the other things that they're going to do at this facility is coordinating the way that they find the children who are in this country that the Biden administration allowed to come in without a parent.
Love it.
And they're lost in our country somewhere. The effort to find these children is going to be centered in this place.
I love that.
I do too.
How much do you want to bet the lefties in Tennessee are going to be like, oh, we can't have this in Tennessee?
They're not going to bother. They're going to stick this somewhere out there in the sticks and make it hard to find.
That was the point of it being in this Adams, Robertson County, is that it's not in a rural area. It's not in a very populated area.
It's not in a liberal area.
Just go away.
They probably, the people of Adams, they probably want this because it's going to bring jobs, and it's going to bring, when you bring this kind of a facility, and it's like a 1-year deal, and then they can extend it to a 3-year deal totaling $65 million. But it helps the entire economy. It helps the local restaurants and that kind of stuff.
Well, and it also just playing, on the geographic element of things, Adams kind of sits between Springfield and Clarksville to a degree. And so you're going to be able to hit, Clarksville for certain things in operations. You're going to be able to hit Springfield for others. You're going to be able to hit Pleasant View, Hopkinsville up in Kentucky. It's going to actually make it a lot easier to get to these rural areas, because we saw when they first rolled it out with Trump's second administration, we're hitting big cities, L.A.,
Right.
New York. Well, now we're going to get into the thick of it, where the majority of people have gotten to, and that's the hideaway counties.
Speaking of ice, the Palpatine gloves continue to cause.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this viral video? I'll describe it for folks listening on the radio, but you've got. I need some audio, Sam. You've got people now. They're trying out the gloves, and
I scream like a little girl and pee myself. Go back with the glove.
they're using the gloves, and the video went viral, and basically these guys are going down like. I mean, we described it yesterday. No girls. But
no,
we
like little girls.
Oh, like little. Well,
yeah.
Is that sexist? Is that youngest and sexist? Whatever. So they're just. This is like a 30-second video, and all they're doing is touching these guys on their wrist, and they just crumple like a house of cards. And so.
And one of them was a cop in full uniform earlier in the video, the one that screamed really loud.
Yeah, I mean, so this video yesterday, of course, all the liberals are getting all upset and stuff. I love this, and but see, here's the thing though. That looks more than a couple of bee stings, because it was described as, this is going to feel like a few bee stings. But I mean, if I get stung by a bee or several, I don't go down like that.
Probably more like multiple hornets at once. That's what I would equate it to.
Yeah.
My experience with being stung by things that fly.
Well, bottom line is, I love that they're doing this. Apparently, some places already have these. Omaha, Nebraska, in their schools.
Oh my God!
Omaha, Nebraska. They have. This is what we need for Nashville schools.
You remember that was Antioch High Schooler that pepper sprayed a teacher?
Yep.
Yeah, bet you wouldn't be doing that again.
That's what we need. Memphis, bring in the Palpatine gloves. By the way, if you watch us on YouTube and I don't know, Facebook, we're doing, Joan, I don't know if you've seen today's. Every day, Sam likes to do these thumbnails of what the show is going to be about.
Yes,
and so I send it to him. And so as we've mentioned before, the producers are engaged in this epic battle of who can come up with the best thumbnail for the day. And so I sent Sam, would it be fun if we put like Palpatine in an ice uniform? Now, if you don't know who Palpatine is, Star Wars, he's the guy that has the electricity coming out of his fingers. And so Sam was able to incorporate that and a whole bunch of other stuff. Really, really good thumbnail today. So Sam, well done. By the way, so apparently you've got 50 police departments across the country, 20 states using these gloves already. This is what's interesting, though. So these gloves deliver shocks ranging from 324 to 362 volts, and they have a hard operational limit of 380 volts. A taser, 1,200 to 1,500 volts. So you've got, let's say 350 volts with these gloves to a taser that is up to 1,500 volts.
Well, the difference is going to come down to the surface area. The gloves are going to cover more, whereas, your taser prongs are going to get caught up in clothing, possibly, may not necessarily stick all the way through.
Those taser prongs are, I'm sorry, but a lot of times they don't work.
Shot.
Yeah, you got to get close enough, and you hope that they stick. They don't work on like overweight people either, oftentimes.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's gotta hit deep enough to spaz the muscle.
And if you got a lot of skin,
the muscle's pretty deep.
Yeah, it's hard to,
if there is any at all,
penetrate through there. Anyway, so that is the latest on the Palpatine gloves. Hey, you want to do a Daily Dan poll? Which WTN host would you like to see have this tried out on them?
Oh,
me, Murphy, Chad, or Chris Hand? Who do you want? See, he's actually going to do it, Joan. Which W10 host should get the Palpatine gloves? 7:25, Nashville's Morning News. Joan has the news coming up at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, there is a game of Battleship being played in the Middle East right now. The U.S. aircraft carriers are being switched out. We've got the story on why that's taking place coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:25, Nashville's Morning News. And if you're thinking about replacing your AC, I think what you need to do is check out your windows first, because drafty windows force your AC to work overtime. New windows from Window Nation can help keep your home comfortable. It reduces the strain on your HVAC. I've got, count them, 4 windows in my home from Window Nation. They are outstanding, including 2 in my all-important basement studio. Now, they can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price at Window Nation right now. In the month of August, you can get 50% off all window styles. That's right, 50% off all window styles. You could get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Energy efficient these days. This weekend, a very big deal because it is going to be so incredibly hot. Window Nation has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, 96% customer satisfaction rating, and over 45,000 5-star reviews, including mine. So let's talk about that special once again for the month of August. Energy efficient windows at a great price, 50% off all window styles, 0 down payment as well, and no payments or interest for 2 years. Window Nation is a proud partner of the Wounded Warrior Project. Find them online. Mention my name, windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got a really hot couple of days ahead of us. A partly sunny high 98 today with a heat index in some areas that may reach 115. And Stefano says our highs for Saturday and Sunday are 99 and 101. Careful out there for these next couple of days. And while we're dealing with heat, there are some other places that are dealing with flooding. More than a foot of rain falling yesterday in Indiana with flash flood emergencies being issued. And apparently, this is not the end of it.
In Indiana, they are still dealing with standing floodwaters in many areas, and this is not over just yet. There are flood watches through at least tomorrow in 8 states.
ABC's Alex Perez reporting from Cambridge City, Indiana. Now, the Indiana governor, Mike Braun, has declared a state disaster emergency. The Pentagon now switching out aircraft carriers in the Middle East amid reports of poor conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has been deployed for a long stretch in support of the war against Iran.
The carrier and its 5,000 sailors and Marines have spent more than 250 days at sea, most of it supporting the war with Iran, including more than 200 straight days without a port call. A U.S. official confirms a sailor did go overboard this month, but was recovered. Families of those on board told the Military Times at least 2 sailors have tried to jump from the carrier. But Central Command says reports of a spike in suicidal thoughts among the crew are false.
ABC's Karen Waugh, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth telling Newsmax that the reports of sailors and Marines struggling are completely misrepresented. Now, the USS George Washington, which is a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, is on its way now from a port in Vietnam. It was seen crossing the Strait of Malacca yesterday. The war on Iran is heating up on the economic front, too. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that the U.S. is applying measures never seen before, although he's not revealing exactly what that effort looks like. It comes as Iran has declared it'll join the BRICS New Development Bank. BRICS is an organization made up of China, Russia, Iran, and several other countries. Iran is hoping to shore up its economic alliances with these other member countries. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 734 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Dan Mattis here for my friends at DT McCall's. They've been helping out Tennesseans for over 100 years. That is huge. Fair prices, outstanding customer service. Now, right now, they've got great deals on all things electronics, appliances, furniture, lawn and garden, and a whole lot more. You know, the DT McCall's, they've been saving Middle Tennesseans money for over 100 years, 4 generations of treating people right with a focus on savings and customer service. Now, I've used DT McCall's many times in my 12 years here at WTN in Middle Tennessee. First thing I do when I realize that I need something is I go to dtmccalls.com, check out the latest specials, and typically I'll order right from the website. If I have to go to the brick and mortars, I do, and I've always got great customer service. So if you need anything for your home, your garage, or your backyard, you only need to go to one place, my place, DT McCall's. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online. dtmccalls.com. Tell them Dan Mattis told you to reach out. Dan Mattis here for my friends at the Covered Patio. Warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. Maybe not this weekend, but generally speaking. And don't forget that fall is coming. And actually, fall is my favorite time to spend time out on my back patio. But the Covered Patio, if you don't have a patio, they can build one for you. And if you want to upgrade your current patio, yes, they can do that as well. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep your patio open when you want some sun, closed when you want some shade and privacy. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable with the Covered Patio. They've got a ton of outdoor living options with motorized screens and patio covers and custom wooden decks and outdoor structures. The Covered Patio has a ton of options with styles for every budget, including yours. If you've been thinking about upgrading your patio, call my friends at the Covered Patio. They are dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and space. Enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out to the Covered Patio, 615-695-2407. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, 615-695-2407, thecoveredpatio.com.
Okay, so we have a problem this morning on 24 westbound in the South Nashville area, right at Murfreesboro Pike. There is a crash, and that's causing some big delays this morning. Blair Boulevard in the Hillsboro West End area, there's an injury crash at 21st Avenue South. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.738, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So the Daily Dan poll, Joan, we did the poll.
Yeah, which said?
Which WTN host would you like to give the Palpatine gloves to that ICE has?
Did you win, Dan?
You know what? I came in second.
Yeah.
Which I'm just going to say that coming in second, I think that I'm just so lovable. I can't believe that people said that I would come in second, but that's fine. I think what it is, you all remember way back when, like many years ago when I did the Ice Bucket Challenge, and my reaction, this is going back years, was my voice went up like 9 octaves. I think people want to hear that again. Because if you think that my voice went high for a little bit of ice water, can you imagine how high my voice would go if I was shocked by the Palpatine gloves?
I would like to stick a piece of glass in front of your face and see if you could break it.
You know what? I probably could. So do you want to go through just very quickly, if you want to, by the way, Joan, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Should I mention one of my favorites was WTN Management?
I know. I saw that.
Now, I didn't...
Like, what do these people have against our managers?
Those are like write-in. Those were like write-in on the super text line. We love WTN Management here. We would never want to give them the Palpatine gloves. But as far as people on the super text line, go ahead. What are the results? Which WTN host would you like to see shocked by the Palpatine gloves that ICE has?
We had Chad with 37%, Dan with 33%, Chris and Matt both tied with 15%.
So I would say Chris and Matt are like beloved.
Or they don't have as funny of a reaction to being shocked as Dan or Chad would.
Okay. We can go for that too.
Wow, Joan. You know, somehow Joan just piles on the love, doesn't she? Chris and Matt are beloved.
Well,
the only thing people love about Dan is his voice when he gets shocked by the Palpatine gloves. It's fine, Joan. Don't worry about it now. No. It's all good. It's all good.
Your
it's cool.
Note reached so high, Willie Nelson would be shocked.
Anyway, moving right along. See Tom Homan on Hannity last night? Oh, he is PISSED. So I don't know if you heard this, but New York Governor Kathy Hochul and Mayor Mamdani, did you hear what they said about ICE? They said that ICE was abandoning kids because they allowed a $356 million federal contract to expire. Now, this contract was with a group or a network of legal aid groups that were representing these kids. Well, it turned out that was fake news, because what was actually happening was you have ICE and you have the Border Patrol and you have the Trump administration. Basically, they are working with another group to get the same services for these kids that are in this country illegally, and we are covering the cost of those attorneys. That's a whole nother conversation, but we're covering the cost of these attorneys, and we're simply changing groups. So Tom Homan, he unleashed. This is how long is this? This is 1:16 of the angriest that I have ever heard Tom Homan. Listen.
What they did today was a blatant, disgusting lie. And I'm tired of it. Now, they want to spend millions of dollars of New York taxpayers' money on defending migrant children because they said we abandoned them. No, we didn't abandon them. We just changed contracts. We have a contract in place right now that defends the children at a better rate than was being done in the past. There hasn't been one child at a hearing that hasn't been represented by a lawyer under this new contract. So don't say we're abandoning these children. The only people that abandon children are you, because you say you care about the safety of the children, you care about the safety of the communities. Well, since I've been border czar, I wrote these numbers down. Since I've been border czar, New York State has denied 14,000 detainers, over 14,000 detainers. Wow. Who are they? 6,800 illegal aliens with assault convictions, 800 convictions for child crimes. Don't tell me you're trying to protect children. You're releasing predators to the street every day across that state. You got 770 convictions for rape or other sex crimes. I'm sick of the lying. I'm sick of the distortion of the facts. President Trump's done more to make New York City and New York State safer than they have.
He's absolutely right.
Oh,
now,
he is
disturbing.
Hot.
Oh, he is.
Man.
He is angry. So in case you missed it, basically he's saying that their city and state, New York, ignores detainers from ICE. Now, that means that ICE says, hey, you've got a bad guy in custody, keep him so that we can deport him. And instead, they release them back into the community. It's insane, because then ultimately what they do is they go and they reoffend, and then that leads to real victims. I mean, we've all talked about suicidal empathy, right? I would call this murderous empathy. Now, what do I mean by that? Simply this. So these sanctuary cities have empathy for these illegal aliens and release them despite ICE detainer requests. So then they go out and they kill innocent people. Want some receipts? There's a guy named Riaz Khan. He is an illegal. He was arrested for assault. This is in New York, Kathy Hochul's town or state. So he's an illegal. He was arrested for assault. ICE wanted him, sent in a detainer. They released him anyway, and he murdered a 92-year-old. That's why Tom Homan is so pissed in San Francisco. Everybody remember Kate Steinle?
Yes.
She was murdered by a guy who ICE wanted to pick up from the authorities there. They released Francisco Sanchez anyway, and he killed Kate Steinle shortly afterward. I could do this all day long. So Mamdani and Kathy Hochul, I understand why Tom Homan is so angry, because he is the one that has to deal with unfortunately, the after effects, the impact of what happens when they release these murderers back into the streets. That's how we end up with a Kate Steinle murdered. That is how we end up with a 92-year-old murdered. Yet you're going to have Mamdani and Kathy Hochul, who are out there spreading lies about ICE and the Border Patrol and what the Trump administration is doing, and they won't actually admit to any culpability or responsibility in the innocent people that are killed because of what they do or don't do. in keeping these guys in custody until ICE can pick them up and deport them. It is unbelievable. Anyway, 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, in a word, hot. Today, a few clouds, a high of 98, going to feel like 110, 115 in some places. Saturday, hotter, 99. Sunday, high of 101, and it's going to feel like it's going to be 115. So
it sounds like a joke, like a cruel, cruel joke.
Mother Nature has no sense of humor, Sam. In case you've noticed, it's going to be brutal.
Think of all the toxins that you will sweat from your body today. I think there's something good that will come of this.
Do you know there's some people?
It's kind of rude to assume I'm full of toxins, but okay.
Amy and I were laughing at some people who consider themselves enlightened. I don't know if I should do this, but
do it. That's my Palpatine
no,
impression.
because I know, but people are going to get mad at me if this is them. So there's people out there who will actually say, and this might be you, Joan, because you're kind of crunchy. There's crunchy people that will say, oh, you can't use suntan lotion because it's got toxins in it.
Oh, yeah.
So by all means, sit out in the sun and give yourself skin cancer with all of the rays coming down, not to mention the blistering hot sunburn.
It's more so the sunscreen, I think, that people have reactions to.
Sunscreen,
Absolutely.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, people will say don't use it, and it's like, you're crazy. You are bat crap crazy.
This is definitely sunscreen weather. This is definitely, like, don't leave your dog's kids in the car weather, 100%.
Are you one of those people that says don't use sunscreen, Joan, and don't use
I don't like, no sunscreen. No sunscreen. I
She's one of those. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew you were crunchy. You know, the second I started in on this, I thought, oh, crap.
Well, see,
Joan's one of those.
I reached for that SPF 8 oil.
Right. That's kind of what, I mean, for the longest time, I grew up at the beach. So, I get tan. When I was young, I used oil, the tanning oil and I would get dark, and I love that. But as I got older, I graduated to, SPF 8. Yep. And that's where I stayed.
Yep.
SPF 8. I use, you know what I use?
SPF 100.
Do they have 100?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I use 50. I use SPF 50. And Amy's like,
less toxic than.
Do you know what? She hasn't been honest with me then, because I asked, hey, is there anything more than I can use besides 50?
There's 70, 75. I'm pretty sure there's 80.
Okay. You know what? Then I'm going to order some on Amazon. Like, I cannot get enough of that. I jump in the water, I get out, and I slather myself up again.
Have you seen those, like, viral postings of people that, like, went to the beach for spring break and they tried to spray themselves, and then they were out in the sun for 3 or 4 hours, and you can you see where they got it and where they didn't.
Oh, yeah. There's like one.
Nothing
there's one
beats
time.
just rubbing it in.
There's one time I missed like a little patch on my head. This is why I wear hats now, by the way. I'm that guy. You guys remember the video, is it Huey Lewis, If This Is It, where he's walking along the beach in like pants and a polo shirt? That's me at the beach. That is me at the beach, because I'm wearing a hat and I'm wearing longs, whatever. Nobody cares.
Well, no. You ever seen those long sleeve fishing shirts that like crews wear when they go out? You need some of those. They're multi-purposeful.
Right. That's exactly right.
I cut the yard in.
All right, real quick, I want to do this. I loved what Jeremy Faison said not Jeremy Faison. I love what Scott Sapicki said about Jeremy Faison. He had 3 words, bless your heart, when Jeremy Faison said this about Tennessee Republicans.
What made you decide like this was the year that you were like, okay, I've done enough?
Republicans introduced a bill that would allow schools to remove children who are here with parents illegally. I'm Christian, so I believe all these people are made in the image of God. So that bill didn't pass, thank goodness, but that's kind of where the mainstream GOP is.
So apparently, Jeremy Faison believes that if you want tight border controls and you want to demagnetize the state of Tennessee, then you are far too far, I'm going to air quote this, to the right. And so that is apparently why he decided to leave the Republican Party for the state of Tennessee. So this is part of a new docu-series. It's apparently analyzing politics in the South. Faison says that's not where America's at. I would disagree with Jeremy Faison. I think that more people want Tennessee and the South and America to be demagnetized. So, and here's the other thing, is that the bill that he's talking about didn't pass. He's talking about House Bill 793 and Senate Bill 836, and they realized back when this was a thing, they realized that it might not pass constitutional muster, and so they pulled that part of the bill out. So what is his problem? I would ask Jeremy Faison, what is your problem? They realized maybe they went too far constitutionally, so they pulled it out, and it was not in the later versions. I mean, I was a little offended by the fact that it does sound like he's calling out Christians who want strong borders as unchristian-like, which is a little weird. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but, whatever. I mean, personally, I believe that Tennessee Republicans, they are on the right track with the exception of medical marijuana. I think that they're way off base on that. But overall, I think that they're doing a good job. The thing about medical marijuana, somebody wanted me to ask, I had Scott Sapicki on earlier. Hey, ask Scott Sapicki about medical marijuana. Friends, they all say the same thing. They all say the same thing, which is, we're going to look at it. We're looking at it. We're going to put it in committee. BS. They're never going to pass it. I'm just telling you. I don't believe that they'll ever pass medicinal marijuana, even though every single Republican I know, which is actually quite a few, want medicinal marijuana passed. They won't do it. Whatever. But you know what the thing is? Look at everything that the Tennessee Republicans have focused on. I mentioned this earlier in the 5 o'clock hour. Cutting crime in Memphis specifically. This has been huge. Donald Trump and the law enforcement surge, they've been literally saving lives. Keeping men out of women's sports has been huge. Cooperating with ICE and federal agencies on illegal immigration, massively popular with the Republicans here in the state of Tennessee. School vouchers, those have been controversial. State legislature and Governor Lee, they've been working hard to make sure that we have a pro-business environment and culture here in the state of Tennessee, trying to cut property taxes for people in Nashville. It goes on and on and on. So I don't know if Jeremy Faison, if he wants to come on this show, I'd love to have him on. I think he's off base on this. You people know that I'm always fair with guests. And if he wants to come on and explain and we can have, what I would say would be a good dialogue on this, I would love to have him on. 7:54 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I got a text messages. My 8 o'clock a guest is apparently lost and traveling around Middle Tennessee. So I'm going to...
That's a shame.
It is a shame. Well, this is a tough location. Where we are, which I'm not going to say the address, not that it's not available. But anyway, I'm going to try to talk her, try to give her directions. Joan, what's coming up in the news?
Well, we'll tell you what just happened in Washington, D.C. that some national security experts say is going to lead to the next 9/11. Crazy stuff. It's coming up at 8 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning, 8 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and we are looking at a brutal hot trend for the next couple of days.
We could hit 100 one or both days this upcoming weekend. Extreme heat and humidity are expected to continue now all the way through Monday.
Yeah, the heat index reaching 115 in some places today, and it could be even hotter on Sunday. The Trump administration is going back to the Supreme Court and asking for an emergency ruling. It wants the court to allow the full implementation of President Trump's executive order that restricts the use of mail-in ballots before the midterms. Now, this comes after a U.S. district judge in Boston blocked parts of the order that says that if states don't clean up their voter rolls, then the Postal Service will block delivery of mail-in ballots. In Cordova, Tennessee, near Memphis, a 6-year-old girl died after being left on a daycare van for hours yesterday. Her name was Winter Jones. She was discovered at Kidd University just after 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon. She had been taken to a nearby emergency room but pronounced dead there. Her uncle said that the child was non-verbally autistic and unable to alert anyone that she had been left in the van. The temperature outside at the time, 97. The Department of Children's Services confirmed the agency is involved in the investigation. Kidd University's website was suspended last night. The Washington, D.C. hoaxers at it again. Now the World War II memorial has been hit with graffiti and bubbles. Here's a reporter from the TV station WJLA.
A sacred ground defaced with this red paint reading, "Clean hands, dirty $sign." And out here on the scene, we're seeing a ton of U.S. Park police officers really blocking off this area.
Yeah, they also filled the fountain with bubbles. The Interior Department is leading the investigation. And there's more from Washington, D.C. The Daily Caller is reporting that a senior intelligence official in the Chinese Communist Party has just purchased the historic securities building that overlooks the White House complex. One former CIA operations officer says not only would the White House be at risk from classic listening post operations that collect phone calls and text messages, but also emerging ops too, like hidden drone swarms. He is sounding the alarm, saying this kind of property is where the next 9/11 will come from. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. Well, stock futures this morning are looking mixed still. We've got Dow futures minus 66, but the NASDAQ futures plus 79. S&P futures gaining 7.5 points. That's the latest news. Stick around. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Dan Mendes here for my friends at the Glock store. It's back. Force on Force training at the Glock store. This is training that is, in a word, intense. Now, I've done it. Chris has done it. Matt has done it as well. We all talked about it. It is amazing. Now, the bad news is that when I did it, I got shot. But the good news is, obviously, the bullets are not real. But also the good news is that it really did help me understand where I was lacking in my training. And so I am now taking steps to make sure that I am fully trained on everything compliant with the new laws here in Tennessee. These are real life, live action scenarios that do test your marksmanship and that split-second decision-making in real time. And it does determine, like me, if you're up to the task of defending yourself and your family and doing it legally and within the bounds of the law. This was huge last time around, and so yes, the Glock store is bringing it back. Force on Force training is only available at the Glock store. Each session focuses on your safety, Tennessee gun laws, and knowing when is the right time to shoot. Find them online and book your session, glockstore.com/FOF. glockstore.com/FOF. They've only got 15 openings per session. Reserve yours right now before it sells out. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. glockstore.com/FOF.
It's a problem in Almaville this morning on I-840, the westbound lanes before Almaville Road, exit 47, the left lane blocked off by, it looks like the accident there, police activity, perhaps. It's stop and go all the way from Veterans Parkway. In Laverne, on the westbound side of 24 at Old Hickory Boulevard South, you've got a crash. It is on the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.807 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on to a Friday, August 14th. I've got a special guest in studio, and I'm really glad to have you here, Stephanie Sewell. Stephanie, you are replacing the beloved around here. Glenn Cranfield, of course, he has decided to retire from Nashville Rescue Mission. He was CEO. He was everything to Nashville Rescue Mission. He was also a very good friend, still is, of WTN. So he, after many, many years at the Rescue Mission, he has now decided to retire. Good for Glenn. I'm really happy for him. You have the, I guess, unenviable task of trying to replace him. However, you came, and I'm a little discombobulated only because you and I were having such a great conversation off the air, and then all of a sudden, Mandis, it's time to talk. But Stephanie, you are replacing Glenn as the CEO of Nashville Rescue Mission. Is that your title, CEO?
Yep, my title, CEO, Stephanie Sewell. Yep, and I got to follow behind Glenn, which is amazing.
So, but you came from San Francisco.
Yes.
Where you worked for a homeless shelter there. Yep. Now, folks, as you could imagine, that started off all kinds of conversation with myself and Stephanie. But coming from San Francisco to here, I mean, and because you worked for a homeless shelter out there, our situation here is not nearly as bad as San Francisco. But talk about what you experienced in San Francisco.
I think homelessness is like truly a humanitarian crisis in a first world. You know, we're living in the incredible area of the Bay Area, and people are walking by you eating out of trash cans, and that is fairly unacceptable to the person passing and the person eating there. That is our neighbor in need. So it was quite tragic in San Francisco, but I feel like Nashville Rescue Mission, it seems very achievable to grab hold and get a hold of the homeless and the people that are unhoused and bring them into our doors, considering that Nashville Rescue Mission carries 80% of the beds.
One of the things that we've talked about often is that Nashville Rescue Mission, and as you know, it's August, so we're already starting to think about the Radiothon coming up in November. But one of the things that we've talked about is that Nashville Rescue Mission, it has a reputation nationwide. And so for you in San Francisco, when this opportunity came up, for you, did you realize that the rescue mission here in our city does have such a great national reputation?
So the women's shelter specifically, the new one built, is probably like state of the art, one of the top women's shelters in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
And so, people are reaching out to me saying, now that you're there, Stephanie, can we have tours? Can we have insight? And it's cutting edge. And what the program is doing, Joy Flores is doing, is phenomenal, and how she's helping care and counsel and coach people how to live a better life of dignity.
One of the things that I love about the women's mission, their part of it, is that you're rescuing a lot of kids too. And so talk about that aspect of it. You know, from your many years of working with the homeless, that it's not always adults, it's also women with children who are trying to escape bad relationships.
Yes. And last night, 90 little children spent the night at the Nashville Rescue Mission. And that to me is like, it's a safe, healthy environment. It's not a car. It's not domestic violence. They are fleeing stuff that is so tragic. And 90 children had a safe place to sleep last night because of our amazing donors.
One of the things that we talk about often during the Radiothon is that sadly the women's shelter is brand new. I mean, it's only, a couple of years old, I think?
2 years old.
2 years old. And there's still need for a bigger shelter.
There is.
Like, that's really sad.
There is. There is. I mean, honestly, if someone out there would like to give us some money to open a family shelter for men, women, and children to keep families together, that's another aspect of homelessness that is reaching our streets. And the women's shelter is also full of a lot of geriatric women that are in their later seasons of life, and they're spending it at a shelter. What is that about?
Well, and for us, as you know, we've been such a huge supporter of the mission for so many years. One of the things, as you know, for us, one of the things that we talk about often is that the shelter, the Nashville Rescue Mission, it doesn't accept any money from the government. I think for this audience, that is core to our message regarding the shelter. It really is. The mission depends on donations from folks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we wouldn't be able to do it without people like that, willing to give $1 or give $20,000. We would not be able to do what we do without that, and give those 90 children last night a place to sleep that's safe. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be a reality without you.
Right.
And we thank the radio station. Thank you so much for what you do and what you wave our flag and help your neighbors in need.
Well, and people, this year, I believe, will be my 13th Rescue Mission radio broadcast. And my first words every year during my portion of the broadcast is, this is my favorite broadcast of the year, because I truly feel like we are, as a radio station, we're making a difference for Nashville Rescue Mission that is absolutely making a difference. And so in some small way that we can support that, I'm a big fan of that, and we love that we're continuing this relationship. More with Stephanie Sewell coming up next on Super Talk 99.7. Real quick, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be absolutely brutal here in the next couple of days. I believe the hottest weekend of the year. Today, a few clouds, high of 98, going to feel like 110 to 115 in some places. On Saturday, little hotter, high of 99, going to feel like 115. Sunday is the really bad day, high of 101. And that means it's going to feel like, again, somewhere between 110, 115, maybe even hotter. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Stephanie Sewell is replacing Glenn as the CEO of Nashville Rescue Mission. She is joining us, and as I was saying before the traffic, one of my favorite things about our radiothon that we do, and it's coming up in November, is I like to go and speak to the people that have gone through the program. And they've been through hell and back, man. I mean, they walk through those doors and they're greeted. They're at the lowest point of their lives. And then after they go through the program, God-centered, by the way, that part of the program, also one of my favorite parts of Nashville Rescue Mission, they have hope. Sometimes they have jobs. They've reconnected with their families, but they are on the right track. So talk a little bit, just broadly speaking, about what makes Nashville Rescue Mission, I mean, I don't know if it's appropriate to say better, but I would say better. But what makes them unique from some of the other missions across the country? Is it the fact that it's God-centered?
It is the fact that it's God-centered, and that would be the key role of our organization, and that is what's transforming lives. One gentleman came to me yesterday, and he said he's been in 8 challenging rehab situations, and this is the first one that he's ever been in that has completely transformed his life. And he said he's never been this long, clean and sober in his entire life. And he gives it all thanks to Nashville Rescue Mission. A man like yesterday, he was 80 years old. He said, for 80 years, I have really, really struggled. And finally, I'm getting on track for my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren. And I just feel like the Nashville Rescue Mission transforms lives from generation to generation. And this is what it's all about. It's starting and transforming these hearts of these humans that when they go home to their beautiful children, grandchildren, they're amazing human beings and adding to society.
One of the things when we do and by the way, I don't know that I've ever done a rescue mission broadcast without shedding a tear. It's just, the stories are so inspiring, and that is a testament to how great the rescue mission is. One of the things that I always find so gratifying when you talk about what you folks do is number one, it is the protecting the kids from, when you have a mom that comes in and she's got children with her, the school bus will pick up the kids first and drop them off last so that other kids don't know that they're dropped off. I mean, it's details like that, I think, that is what makes the rescue mission special. Talk about how, particularly the moms, how do you prepare them for life beyond the mission? Because what I like to say is that it's an investment in people. When you donate, you are investing in these people so that they can be more productive members of society and keep them safe.
I mean, a mother showed up with her 9 children. Now that's a lot of kids. And I went up to the shelter to hang out and see the kids the other night. And she was new on site. And where is she going straight away? Straight to counseling. And it's like you get in the door and it's straight into how can we make you a better mom, a better human being. And I said, how are you doing? And she goes, I'm finally less stressed about my life. And I feel like I can catch a breath and do something and do a new direction for my kids. And I'm like, I gave her a hug and said, God bless you, and left her to her counseling. So, yeah.
So, Stephanie Sewell, a new CEO of Nashville Rescue Mission. So I've got to ask, in radio, when a new boss comes in, there's always like changes and that kind of thing, and it's the only job that I've ever done. So is there, with Glenn's retirement and you coming in, is there going to be any changes to Nashville Rescue Mission as far as the program goes, or it's full steam ahead?
It is full steam ahead, honestly.
Why mess with a good thing?
Exactly. Glenn was phenomenal. I literally spent time with him yesterday and literally cried because of what the legacy that man has done and left. And the senior leadership team at the Nashville Rescue Mission, absolutely amazing. I can't do anything. The only thing I'm going to do is scream on radio shows and get out there in front of people and say, Nashville Rescue Mission holds 80% of the beds. How can you not support us? Like, how can you not put a hand to the plow to your neighbors in need and go, yes, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when a mom calls us at 2 a.m, we are ready to receive her. So yes, I am not changing anything. I love what he's done, and the doors are always staying open. Let
me ask you. So you moved here from San Francisco. You've been here for
2 weeks.
2 weeks. No wonder you got lost coming in here. How do you like Nashville thus far in your 2 weeks that you've been here?
I have never been embraced by people so authentic, so endearing, so kind. Even the homeless are like running to my car and saying, Miss Stephanie, can we help you? Can we do anything for you? And I said, you know what? You can give me a hug. That's all I ask. And they're like, no, we want to help you. And I go, no, just give me a hug and don't miss your blessing and finish what you've started. And so honestly, I have been so blown away by Nashville and the people here and the radio station and the different donors I've met. I could just cry, sit here and cry because of just how amazing this city is and what we can do to transform it for our neighbors in need.
And that is why I fell in love with Nashville many years ago, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
NashvilleRescueMission.org is the website. Stephanie, I guess I'll see you in November.
Correct.
Looking forward to that, and we'll return next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, a baby that was born in Texas this week, the center of an abortion controversy. We'll tell you what we mean by that coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$823 Super Talk 99.7 WTN, the Generator Super Center. Listen, one of your biggest priorities in life is to protect your family. And if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to get the power back on in your home quickly. Again, protecting your family. You need the Generator Super Center. Now, you've seen the horror stories. Maybe you lived through the horror stories of the ice outages that we had back in January. You know, power can be out for days, weeks at a time. The Generator Super Center provides backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service. Now, matter of fact, if you go to their website right now, you can find out how to save $500. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. That website, by the way, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com, and see how you can get started in your purchase of a new generator from my friends at the Generator Super Center. They do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install, and a whole lot more. So the power goes out in your neighborhood. You've got a backup power generator, so your power goes right back on. At the Generator Super Center, they also have their generators made right here in America. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952. Check out their website, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com, and see how you can save $500. 825 Ridgeside, K9 Nashville. I love these folks. You know, dogs are supposed to be man's best friend, but sometimes, like all relationships, they need work. Ridgeside K9 Nashville, they can help you. I call them the Dog Whisperers. They've helped thousands of dogs and their owners over the last 25 years solve behavioral issues. And yes, they can help you as well. So if your dog has aggression issues, potty problems, anxiety, basic obedience issues, Ridgeside K9 Nashville, they can help your dog. But what I really love about these folks is that they believe that owner education is just as important as dog training. Long-term success with your dog begins with you. And Ridgeside K9 Nashville, they've got a lifetime support guarantee. They are there for you 24/7. Ridgeside K9 Nashville, They are the premier dog trainers here in Middle Tennessee. Their website, rsk9nash.com, letter K, number 9, rsk9nash.com. Call them, tell Jeff that I said hello, 615-878-0380, 615-878-0380. Ridgeside K9 Nashville, veteran-owned, proven results, and guaranteed for life. So you know what the great thing is, though, Chris, is that, and Joan, you'll love this too. So you know what Stephanie Sewell suggested could be like an impetus for people to donate? By the way, that's a $5 word, impetus.
Ooh.
Well used, Dan.
Thank you, Joan.
I thought that meant you couldn't have children.
No, that's the other imp word.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so she said, hey, as a way to get people to donate, you'll love this, Joan. As a way to get people to donate, let's say, hey, if you're like, you know, the most donor, whatever, people can have lunch with you.
Whoa.
Oh, I like that.
Joan, if there's any way that people will not donate, it's like to have lunch with me.
Where would lunch be?
At Dan's house. In the pool.
Oh, that's good.
Delivered
Oh,
poolside.
wait a minute. Okay, this actually...
Poolside on the patio.
No,
like
this
it.
might be fun. Actually, Joan, you just, so whoever said it.
You better run this by Amy before you dig the hole any deeper. I'm just letting you know.
Like
this is a Monday idea that you bring up on the air, not a weekend idea.
That's a great point, man. No, like top donors get a pool party at Dan's house.
Yeah.
How funny would
telling
that
ya.
be?
It would be like you would get a lot of money for this.
I would actually be very insulted.
Insulted?
Because now the listeners will be invited over to your house before I have.
I've invited you over. You refuse to come over.
I haven't been, so there you go.
We never get invited.
Nope.
You
We're
guys
just the
okay,
coworkers.
hold on, time out.
For all we know, you live under a rock in the
So
ground.
how much do I have to donate to get an invite, Dan?
Yeah, Dan.
We'll talk about that in November.
Okay.
By the way, just so you know, and I say the same thing to Matt Murphy, you guys are invited over anytime. You just let me know when, and I'll be busy.
Oh.
I'm totally kidding.
See?
I'm
knew
totally
it.
kidding. I'm totally kidding. Listen, you guys want to come over, you come right on over.
Don't worry. That wasn't the only thing you said that offended me this morning.
What else did I say that offended you?
I'll tell you during the crisscross handoff.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Exciting. That's a
gonna do it.
That's a big boy tease. All that and a whole lot more coming up on WTN.
Good Good morning. It's 8:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A former Giles County deputy has been indicted on several charges. News 2 says that deputy and his case had been presented to a grand jury, and it did return an indictment.
The sheriff tells us it comes after an arrest where the deputy used a taser while arresting a suspect. Deputies say Stenson Thomas worked with the department from 2019 until July 31st of this year when he resigned.
Thomas has been charged with official misconduct, destruction of government records, perjury, and assault. He's reportedly turned himself into the Giles County Jail and has since been released on bond. A baby born in Texas this week is at the center of a debate over abortion. The mother was hired as a surrogate for a couple in Los Angeles, but when it was discovered that the baby had a rare and life-threatening heart condition, the LA couple told the surrogate to have an abortion. She refused and instead traveled from her home in Alaska to Texas to have the baby in a safe state. Here's ABC News legal contributor Chana Lloyd.
So what has happened is the state of Texas has stepped in because they have laws that allow them to override parental decisions when it comes to medicine in the interest of the newborn. And so essentially what the state of Texas has said is that on behalf of the newborn, they need these medical procedures and that they will have them regardless of what the parents or the surrogate want.
Also, the Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights is warning hospitals in Texas that baby must receive life-saving medical care, that federal law prohibits withholding medical treatment based on a person's disability. And some scary moments for passengers on a United Airlines flight out of O'Hare Airport. They were forced to deplane on the runway yesterday after the plane's tires blew out during takeoff. All 161 passengers and crew made it out safely. They all boarded another plane last night. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Starting off mixed with the Dow down 80, the Nasdaq up 52, and the S&P gaining 6. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
I was just so unhappy with myself. I made myself sick to look at me, to be honest with you, but that's why I came. I wanted to see some results.
That is Gary, and he was at the end of his rope and desperate to find a way to lose the belly fat in his midsection that had been plaguing him for years. And he found the results that he had been looking for at Contours in Cool Springs.
This was the motivation I needed to help me get through that, along with the treatments that have been fantastic and the results I've been super pleased with.
Contours Red Light Technology did work for Gary. How about you? Find them online, contoursllc.com. They've got a special going on right now. First 10 callers do get that Belly Buster special for just $99. That's right, $99 gets you that Belly Buster special. You lose 2 inches off the middle, or it's free. Call them. First 10 callers right now. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Find them online, contoursllc.com. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, contoursllc.com.
Okay, so you've got an accident out at the airport. It's on Briley Parkway at Vultee Boulevard. So it looks like that crash is in the intersection there. That's causing quite a backup as well. Sylvan Park, Charlotte Avenue at 53rd Avenue North, the scene of an accident. East Bank at Jefferson Street on Jefferson Street Bridge. And also in Inglewood, an accident. Gallatin Pike at RD Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So what you're saying is that it's going to be a little hot this weekend.
That's right.
So do you got baseball this weekend, Chris?
We do.
All right.
In fact, I was walking out of the house this morning and I looked at Virginia, and I said, "You're staying home. Let me just handle it. We got a tournament in Shelbyville."
Mm-hmm.
And both boys playing, same location, praise God. So I was like, you don't have to go.
You're so sweet.
Just stay home.
All right.
And I said, I'll tell the boys that you don't care about their games or love them.
She doesn't want to sweat.
I felt like it's a good way for them to deal with disappointment early.
That's good. That's good.
I didn't
From
say,
a woman. I
didn't say that part. But I said, it's going to be too hot for you. Stay home. Stay home.
Now, what was her reaction to that?
Oh, thanks. I will.
So she is abandoning her children at a time of need.
Stop it.
She's really like taking advantage of this whole pregnancy thing. You know?
It's weaponized pregnancy is what it is.
It is weaponized pregnancy, I'm telling you.
And therefore, it's sexism because we don't have anything similar that we can fall back on.
Earlier yesterday, she weaponized the pregnancy against me. She said, I'm getting a little tired of you throwing your shirts on the floor. You know? It's like, stop weaponizing this pregnancy against me.
Exactly right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been doing that, Chris?
Like the last 13 years.
Yeah.
Joan.
How close was the hamper?
It's the biggest shelf in my house, Joan.
He's got kids to pick up the shirts. Just tell him what to do.
Thank
Hey,
you.
pick up that shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very simple, actually.
There's personal responsibility, too. Just saying.
So,
You know.
did anybody else notice that Dan stole my whole bit and then made it a little bit worse today?
What bit was that?
The Batman gloves.
Yeah, well,
the
Chris
ice
did it
gloves
yesterday.
are Batman gloves.
No.
I said Palpatine.
Yeah, no. That's such
Palpatine.
You
Can
boomerfied
you do that
it.
again?
I boomerfied it?
You boomerfied it.
Okay. Couple of things. When did you say that his little gloves are Batman gloves? When did you say that?
Yesterday at 9:05.
All right. Sam and Joan, y'all know that I said Batman gloves like days ago when this. I mean, Palpatine gloves. No, Palpatine gloves.
Oh, the story. He's digging that hole. Here we go.
No, listen. I'm old, I'm confused, and I might be a little drunk. Totally kidding. I had mimosas for breakfast. No, I said Palpatine gloves like days ago.
Yeah,
did I
you
not?
did. You did.
Thank you, Sam. Sam knows who gives him bonuses sometimes.
I don't believe you.
No, it's okay. Check the tape.
He had to ask me
Either way.
if it was
Either way.
Palpatine, and I had to be like, well, it is Palpatine and also Darth Sidious at the same time.
We had the whole conversation.
Exactly.
Dan said, let me find a Star Wars character that's just vague enough that people won't know what I'm talking about.
He's the crux of the whole trilogy. They rebooted with Daisy Ridley.
I thought that I was like a Star Wars nerd, and then I met Sam, and I'm just like
shamed.
I'm shamed, absolutely.
Star Wars
And I couldn't
nerds,
care less.
Star Wars nerds, and libertarians. They all shame each other. You know, libertarians shame other libertarians. Star Wars nerds shame other Star Wars nerds.
It's art.
Do you know what I love
Space
though
art.
about? And Joan, I bet you can relate to this. So, Chris came in, and now he's saying that I boomerfied the bet. Do you know how many times Riker has said, "All right, boomer"? Like,
oh, he says that to you?
oh yeah. Now it's all in fun.
Mm-hmm.
He says. So, we'll see how much fun he has when I take the TV out out of his room. But do you get that a lot, Joan? Because you're a boomer too. Is Joan a boomer?
I'm the last year of boomer.
Big time boomer.
Final year.
No, you're not the last year. I'm the last year. What am I? I always have to ask my wife, what am I?
You're not a boomer.
Besides hot and good looking. Sorry.
You are a little drunk.
No, am I a Gen X? What am I?
You're yeah, because baby boomers.
I was born in I'm 58.
Okay, all right.
Baby boomers are defined as people born 1946 to 64.
Oh, okay. So
I was
I'm
born
not
in
a boomer.
64. You're not.
So for once in his life, Riker is wrong. I'm not a boomer. I just apparently act like one and play one on the radio. So there you go. Whatever. Anyway, I don't pay attention to that stuff. What are you, Chris?
Millennial.
You're a millennial? Millennial?
Millennial. You do that with the Shelbyville accent?
I do, Shelbyville.
Millennial.
I'm a millennial in Shelbyville. All right, whatever. And what is Sam?
I'm a millennial. I'm the last.
You're the last of the millennials?
Yep.
Right so we got three generations here. We've got Boomer.
Well,
which
Mason's
is
Gen Z, right?
Yeah, but he's not here right now. He's not here right now. And you said you Generation X, Chris? Millennial. Whatever.
I'm the older millennial.
I don't care about any of this.
You remember Finding Nemo when they ask him where he lives?
Yeah.
Where does he live, Dan? Where do clownfish live in the sea?
I don't know. It's been...
Anemone?
What is he doing?
I don't know.
What is he doing? Why do you do this?
This is the younger millennials with their Disney references.
That's exactly right. Damn you with you know what, that whole thing, Joan's going to be gone for a couple of days. So I said to Sam, okay, Sam, we can do Sam's World at 5:30 instead of Joan's World. I'm having second thoughts about that now, Sam, with that whole thing you just did.
You live in what kind of home? Okay.
Yeah, that was me a few minutes ago. I'll admit. Whatever.
Millennials are the best, though, and everybody understands that.
Facts. Best childhood era ever.
We grew up without technology and with technology. We weren't dependent on it, but we were blessed by it.
Mm-hmm.
Joan?
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because who gave you the technology?
Japanese people?
Yeah.
No.
Was it? It was
the Japanese.
I think it was the Japanese.
I wasn't playing with my Smith and Miller toy. It was a Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Okay.
My Sony PlayStation.
Sony.
Anyway, so I thought the whole Palpatine thing was good.
It.
So we did this whole thing.
Joan is very upset, you know. We allowed that to happen.
We took your music and we made it digital and uploaded it to the cloud where we could listen to it whenever.
I trashed so many family computers with LimeWire and Kazaa. You guys don't even know the digital STDs I put on that thing. I would wait 4 hours just to find out that I accidentally trashed another computer. For one 3-minute Eminem song that didn't exist.
You know what the problem? Do you know what the problem is? No, this is serious. Do you know what the problem is with today's whole music thing with Apple Music and all that?
You're paying more and getting less.
You don't ever own the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if I suddenly can't afford my, $9.99 a month or whatever it is, then I've lost access to all my music. It used to be you could have a record, a cassette, and you still can, I suppose, or a CD. But now you just...
Or an 8-track tape.
Or an 8-track tape.
There's a mutiny now in the video game world because the new GTA game that everybody's been waiting for 2 decades for, they're not gonna sell a disc version. It's only gonna be online.
Really?
So you get locked out of your account for doing something wrong and you never get to play that again.
Yeah.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy, they said.
GTA?
Crickets.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones?
Exactly.
What is it? Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
And we're on number...
If I was a betting man, you did a segment on how inappropriate that game was back in the day and how kids shouldn't be playing with it. Somewhere...
KOA?
Was it really? You did
KOA.
it. I knew you did it.
KOA.
I knew it.
That got me. Totally
okay,
got me.
Boomer.
Yep.
They're running around. They're playing as gangbangers. They're going into strip clubs and stealing cars.
Yeah, and killing cops. And
it's setting a bad precedent for today's youth.
Oh, my gosh, I'm so guilty of that. Whatever.
Did you do one for the parental advisory sticker too back in the day?
No, that was I was in high school.
Were you pro parental advisory?
Yeah, because it'd be good for the bands, because that would make the kids want to listen to it more.
Yeah.
I know me.
Pretty iconic label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I was a big fan of Ozzy. When my dad told me not to listen to Ozzy Osbourne, what did I do?
Screw you, Dad. It started with parental advisory stickers, and it ended with a warning about Italian stereotypes on Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, man. Did your parents ever have a problem with the hip-hop devil music you listen to?
Yes. But me and my dad, we used to trade off. So this is what warped me. This is why I am who I am. We'd listen to Biggie for 15 minutes, and then we'd listen to Howie Carr for 15 minutes.
There you go.
So
there you go.
There was a trade.
Well, I've told this story. I don't know if I've told you
that.
this story, but my dad had to listen to, because he didn't want me to listen to Ozzy. So
On account of the devil worship and the eating of animals.
Yes. Well, he did, with the bat and the dove and the whole thing. So I said, all right, Dad, so if you listen to one Ozzy song, I'll listen to one of your pieces of music, because I told him it's really not that bad. And so I listened to, and I've told this before, I listened to the Ink Spots, which was apparently my dad's favorite like group.
Yeah.
Was the Ink Spots. Now the Ink Spots,
they don't get the credit that they deserve.
So,
everybody was really like torn up about the Beatles, but the Ink Spots, it was like the tortoise and the hare. They were still running their race,
My dad loved the Ink Spots, and I had to sit there and listen to an entire song by the Ink Spots. Now, I don't know what to make of it, but they're like 4 black men, and they're called the Ink Spots. No, I don't know. I'm asking a question. Like, is that racist? But they named their own group, so whatever. But I listened to it.
They weren't named by the white record label, I swear.
I don't know, man. Anyway, so I listened to the Ink Spots first, and I got through. Yeah. I think this was the actual song that I listened to. It's like, Dad, you're killing me. Really? So then I forced him to listen to Ozzy. I did choose Crazy Train because I thought that was the most acceptable to my father. And he got through, I think, maybe the first verse, and he said, nope, I'm not doing it. I said, Dad, that's not fair. I listened to the entirety of your piece of crap music, and you won't listen to the entire song of Ozzy? He said, no, son, and you know what that is? That is adult privilege, is basically what he said. Dad privilege. So
my dad has dropped that several times.
Has he really?
Yes.
Do you know not once have I dropped
like
dad privilege? Have you dropped mom privilege, Joan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I never had. Apparently, I missed something.
I'm going to use it. I've done because I said so.
Yes.
Plenty of times, which I feel like is pretty equivalent.
Okay.
9629. Did you see what they called you on the text line?
No.
Dan Tipper Gormandis.
I said I liked. Well, okay. I can see if somebody says, completely taking my comment out of context, Mandis liked the parental advisory stickers. Left on its own, I sound like I'm another Tipper Gore. The reason I like them is because it tells me the kind of music that I would like, because it's got a parental advisory sticker on it.
Dan likes curse words and Satan worshiping.
Dan is the Gen X kid you saw.
do the one hand over the eye for everybody will think you're in the Illuminati.
Yeah, I did the devil horns for people listening on the radio.
Josh has a hot take on the super text line.
What's that?
The Beatles are the most overrated artist in history.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's from someone who studied the Beatles. I listened to all the albums. I read the books and the discography and all that. Overrated.
Sam,
Eleanor Rigby is a masterpiece.
What instrument do you play, Sam?
Guitar, piano.
I don't think you do. Because if you did, you would actually know that what they do is brilliant. How do I know that? I don't, because I don't play any instruments.
But he's acting like a pianist.
Someone said it.
I don't get it. Is that a joke?
Never mind.
Dan is the Gen X kid you saw in the milk carton.
Man, whatever. Is it time for me to go home yet?
Nope.
Daily Dan poll. Which Gore do you prefer, Al or Tipper? Says 2433.
Anyway, whatever.
We're going to use that parental advisory sticker thing as a promo. You know that, right?
Oh, are you?
Out of context.
Completely out of context. Yeah, that would actually.
I think that they should run promos where it's just Mandis out of context. And then it's just some of the most outlandish lines from the show.
Packed ass.
Oh, gosh.
Remember from
and then it'll be like, get the context, weekdays, 5 to 9 on Nashville's Morning News.
Touch my knobs.
Wouldn't that be good?
Do you have want some wood over there? Because that's one of my. I would love a piece of that wood. That's one.
What's the put a D on my head?
And I'm trying to put it in, and I just can't get it in. All right, good. You know what? I'm really glad I'm going home. Oh.
Right after you get up from your seat.
Did you remember,
Dan?
Do you remember the really lame talk radio promos? What did Dan Mandis say today, right? Or what did Rick D say today? They could do that. Hashtag trendsetter, baby. Let's play that one. All right, anyway. Are we done? Can I be done? Because I like, it's funny. Chris came in. I said, I cannot wait to get out of here, which is so dumb because I've had a really good couple of shows. Like I've actually, believe it or not, I've been pleased with the direction of the radio broadcast this week, which never happens. So I want to end on a good note.
I think you're doing a great job.
Do you think? Do you agree with President Trump? Don't forget Dan's precious poll. Okay, I gotta. But precious. Do you not have these things happen to you? Like where I say these things?
Not at the rate of which it happens to you.
It's your rate of these events is similar to that of Abdul Al-Rahman Saeed when he was director of Detroit's Health Center when it came to euthanizing animals. It's a very high rate.
Okay.
Don't drop the Muhammad for no reason.
So
I consider that a slur.
So he presided over how many dogs?
4,680 cats and dogs were euthanized while he was the director of the department in just about a year and a half, August 2015 to February 2017.
And so the prevailing theory is that he did this because Muslims hate dogs.
That's part of it, certainly. But I mean, when you're
why do they hate dogs again?
They're dirty. In their faith, they're looked at as dirty. If they're not working a field or hunting, then they have no place in a household.
You know, in like Germany, they're like trying to like ban dogs altogether. Yep. Like you're not allowed to like walk them on the street.
So it's keeping women safe at night in Europe. Walking home with their dogs.
Get yourself a German Shepherd.
Or better yet, a big old American bully.
Are they really trying to ban dogs in Germany? Is that really what they're trying to do?
They're making an issue of walking them in public places.
That is horrifying. That is horrifying.
Well, they've gone after some people here in the United States for walking their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Very good. Let's see here. Keith says, other talk radio stations just dream of having the fun that you all have. Can I just say that's actually true?
100%.
That like we were talking about this yesterday. We get to literally walk up to the line and look over it the way that like I would say I go to Stern. Stern used to go to that line and really look over it. But because of the way we can the way we can infuse politics into it, nobody else is allowed to do that.
Oh, we have so much fun. And this is so unique. When I fill in across the country, I can't do stuff like this. We don't get to have fun like this or, on other stations. But this is unique to WTN. I love it, and that's why I love working here. Will you be my rock of love? You know what's so funny? Some of these, I don't even remember, like, the context, actually. Will you be my rock?
You're actually asking me directly.
What? Okay.
I left that part out.
I don't remember why I asked you to be my rock of love.
We're talking about Bret Michaels.
Bret Michaels. Okay, from Poison and his old show, Rock of Love.
Yep, VH1.
All right, real quick, I'm going to be hosting an event, Feed America First, as they celebrate 25 years of feeding Tennesseans. I'm going to be there I am going to be the hostess with the mostest.
Oh, let's go, Dano.
I'll be the MC, and Senator Marsha Blackburn going to be there as well. Hopefully you. Proceeds, of course, go back into the charity. So it's feedamericafirst.com, August 25th at the View at Fountains in Murfreesboro. I cannot wait to see you there. So it's feedamericafirst.com. Check it out. Get your tickets. And again, hope to see you there. It is 8:56. Joan, what you got in the news?
Yeah, coming up here, Murfreesboro residents have asked City Council to axe their flock cameras contract. We're going to tell you how that turned out for them coming up at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.